Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Dragon Ball Saiyan Knows Martial Arts. Chapter 91. The person arrived very quickly and had no intention of hiding at all, exuding his power blatantly and unscrupulously. In just a few minutes, the three of them landed on Saiyan Star. Ha ha ha, Dongwu, I'm back again. You never imagined that today is the day you die. West King Kai Layla still has the same dress and attire, but the pride and arrogance on her face seems to be even worse. Obviously, Frieza and the warrior next to her gave her great confidence. Frieza Dongwu could tell, and the person next to him Dongwu also recognized him at a glance. He was indeed Jaiko. As for why, Jaiko's iconic appearance is unique to this family. There are two right angles on the forehead and chin, gray-black hair, and a face similar to Son Goku. There should be no other person. Layla, do you think taking Frieza and this person with you will be useful? Dongwu pretended not to know Jaiko and asked with a smile. Because he wants to know as much as possible about his opponent before fighting. Being unafraid of challenges does not mean being reckless. Only by knowing yourself and the enemy can you be victorious in every battle. This is a wise saying. Yes, with the two of them, I can sweep across the universe. Layla smiled happily and pointed at Frieza and Jaiko to show off. I'm afraid you don't know that the Frieza of today is not the Frieza of before. The Frieza of now is countless times more powerful than before. 7. Haha, Frieza and we have met. Layla was about to continue, but was interrupted by Son Goku, a brainless person. Dongwu regretted bringing him here. Apart from fighting, this guy has no intention at all. Son Goku, long time no see. Frieza also greeted Son Goku, but as soon as he opened his mouth, Dongwu realized that this Frieza was different from the one in the original work. But I can't tell what's different. The appearance is still the same, but the tone of speaking has changed slightly, and it has a bit of a funny character. However, the difference is not too obvious. Dongwu couldn't tell what was wrong, he just felt something was wrong. It's been a long time. I spared your life last time, but I didn't expect that you still didn't repent. You did something bad again. I won't forgive you this time. Son Goku has changed a lot since he was lectured by Dongwu. After all, the impact was quite big, because he thought about it and it was indeed the case. He is a very kind person by nature, otherwise he would not fight again and again to protect others. In the original work, he died twice, Raditz and Cell. But Frieza seemed very happy, and he laughed evilly. Speaking of which, I really have to thank you. Otherwise, how could I have such a powerful body? Frieza was admiring his body as he spoke, as if it was not a body but a work of art. But his words were caught by Dongwu in a strange way. Getting such a powerful body. Dongwu had an idea in his mind. It was obvious that this body was not his originally. Then this, Frieza, should not be the real Frieza. Instead, he was replaced by Dao Dai Li Zan. In the original work, there was only one person with this ability. You're Ginyu, Dongwu shouted, his tone already very certain. Dongwu's words made Frieza stunned, but he smiled happily. I didn't expect anyone to know my name, Ginyu. It seems that my power has spread throughout the universe. Frieza laughed proudly. No, it shouldn't be called Frieza, it should be called Ginyu. In the original work, he once used the body replacing technique to replace his body with Son Goku. In the animation, Toei's original version also changed bodies with Bulma. Later, when he wanted to change his body with Piccolo, Son Gohan threw him a frog, Bulma turned into a frog and he changed back again. He never appeared again after that. Unexpectedly, Frieza's body was found here. It seems that you took advantage of Frieza's serious injury to switch bodies with Frieza. Dongwu looked at Ginyu and said, this ability is too disgusting, if it weren't for the huge difference in strength or lack of defense. Basically, they would all be hit. Originally, Frieza would not be forcibly exchanged due to his fighting power. Unfortunately, Frieza was seriously injured and on the verge of death, unable to resist. That's right, that idiot Frieza has such a powerful body but doesn't know how to use it. Now it's my body, let you see how powerful I am. Ginyu roared, and his powerful momentum shot straight into the sky. And Frieza's original final form actually changed again. However, it's not the appearance that changes, but the color. Originally, Frieza's final form was white with some purple, but now Ginyu used Frieza's body to become silver white. It can be called a silver Frieza. Did you see it? This is my final form. 11 years later, through 11 years of hard work, I have far surpassed Frieza. Ginyu shouted almost crazily, obviously showing off his achievements and proving that he was better than Frieza. This is a kind of morbid showing off, because he has been manipulated by Frieza for a long time, so he has a morbid pleasure in revenge. However, his strength does far exceed that of Frieza. But what made Dongwu relieved was that Ginyu was only Silver Frieza, not Gold Frieza. Although his current combat power is indeed much stronger than Frieza's original, in Dongwu's opinion, it is just that. The long-term worries and fears about Frieza disappeared. Goku, this is your responsibility. Now, Frieza leaves it to you. You must kill him this time. Takaru turned to Son Goku and said. Don't worry, I won't be merciful this time. Son Goku replied, slowly opening his fighting stance, and instantly transformed into Super Saiyan 2. Then, Son Goku roared violently, his golden hair stretched, his eyebrows bulged, and his eyebrows disappeared. Super Saiyan 3, this is a transformation that only Son Goku and Gotenks in the original work have. Nowadays, Son Goku transforms into his strongest state immediately after coming up, which shows Son Goku's determination. You know, Son Goku is a guy who claims to be able to fight anyone 50-50. Even if he is a small character, he will first fight with the opponent with a relatively low combat power. Only in the end will more combat power be used. Frieza, no, Ginyu, I will never forgive you this time. Come on. Son Goku yelled and rushed directly towards Ginyu, who was using Frieza's body. Ginyu also stretched his body and punched Son Goku directly. The battle between Son Goku and Ginyu began, but Dongwu set his sights on Layla and Jai-Ko again. Regarding West King Kai Layla, Dongwu doesn't know what to say. After all, Layla is still very qualified as Supreme Kai. Of course, he is also qualified as a bad guy after his fall. Layla, why don't you introduce the person next to you? Dongwu pointed at Jai-Ko and said with a playful expression. Of course he knew about Jai-Ko, even very clearly. In non-fan anime, Jai-Ko is called the third son of Son Goku by West King Kai Layla. In fact, no, he is just a genetically modified human created by Layla using Son Goku's blood genes. But the power is extremely powerful, even the Super 4 Vegeta and Super 4 Son Gohan at that time were no match for him. Giggle, want to know? Then I'll tell you, this is the third son of Son Goku in our time and space. Layla smoothed her hair in an extremely charming and coquettish way, with a sweet smile on her face, satisfied. Dongwu had known it for a long time, so there was nothing surprising. But Broly and Son Goku were shocked. Especially Son Goku. When he heard that this was his son from another time and space, he immediately became distracted during the battle. Me, my son, are you kidding me? Son Goku screamed in disbelief. But because he was stunned, he was punched by Ginyu and flew far away. Ouch, it hurts, it hurts. Son Goku was beaten away, covering his beaten face and screaming strangely. However, he did not forget the battle. He put this matter aside temporarily and fought with Ginyu again. Broly also murmured to himself, saying in disbelief, I can't believe that Son Goku is really capable of giving birth. You know, Broly is not married yet. What about Son Goku? At this time, he has 3 sons, the eldest son Son Gohan, the second son Trunks' son, and the youngest son Son Goten. And in other time and space, this guy had a son. This made Broly doubt his life, and for the first time he felt that it was time for him to get married and have children. Because Broly and Son Goku are the same age and were born almost at the same time. Seeing that many of his peers had several children, Broly felt that he had no idea. However, Dongwu was not frightened by Layla, and smiled slightly, son. I don't think so. I guess Jai-Ko's birth should be similar to Frieza's. Dongwu knew the inside story and was naturally extremely confident and certain. Even though it was a question, his tone was quite certain. Dongwu's words made Layla stunned, and she burst into laughter randomly. After a while, I stopped and looked at Dongwu with an expression of approval. Yes, I cultivated Jai-Ko using Son Goku's blood genes. I have to say that you, Dongwu, are indeed extremely smart. Originally, I wanted to use your blood genes to cultivate another one. But unfortunately, your cells and genes, it seems that they are all conscious. There is no way to cultivate them, so I can only give up and destroy your cells. Lila's words were full of regret, as if not being able to use Dongwu's genes to cultivate another, Jai-ko, was a great loss. In fact, this is indeed the case. If Dongwu's cell genes can be cultivated, he will definitely be a cultivator who is not weaker than Jai-ko. No, he will be stronger than Jai-ko. Dongwu was stunned, and suddenly thought that he had also bled. But when it comes to cellular consciousness, Dongwu thinks of the time when he broke through the 8th level of Longxiang Boruo Gong. At that time, one's own essence, energy and spirit become one and merge with the body again. Let every cell have a hint of soul breath, which is usually dormant. But once the main body of Dongwu disappears, these cells will be like Majin Buu's cells and revert to Dongwu. Layla, you were originally the Supreme Kai, one of the noblest gods in the universe. It's really sad that you would do such a thing. Dongwu shook his head and made up his mind to kill him this time. Layla. After all, is it okay to create genetically modified humans one by one like this? What do you know? What kind of god is he if he can't have great power? So what if he has a high status? Didn't the original Majin Buu almost kill all of us Supreme Kai? Layla was so excited when she mentioned this emotion that her whole body trembled. There was strong hatred and ambition in his eyes. So, I want to have power over everyone else. I can't do it, but I can cultivate powerful warriors. Layla said happily. This time I come back to kill you. As long as I kill you, no one in this universe can stop me. I will truly become the supreme god in this world. Layla looks crazy, revealing her madness and ferocity. Well, looking at Layla who was possessed, Dongwu helplessly shook his head. Layla became depraved because she was beaten by Majin Buu. Dongwu did not feel it was a pity. If you don't have the ability to bear this, you will fail as a god. Come on, let's decide between life and death today. Dongwu didn't say anything and directly transformed into Secret Game 2. He wanted to kill her quickly, before Layla could activate the time ring. Lest she run away again and be in big trouble again. But Zunwu was not able to do so, because Jai-ko came to Dongwu in a flash and stood between Dongwu and Layla. Obviously, Layla doesn't want to face Dongwu directly. She was not Dongwu's opponent at the beginning. Although she doesn't know Dongwu's strength now, she should at least be stronger than before. She won't take risks anymore. There is Jai-ko, why should I fight? But she forgot one thing, Dongwu was also surrounded by people. Seeing Jai-ko blocking Dongwu, Brawly directly transformed into a pass and blocked Jai-ko. In this way, Song leaves Layla alone to face Marshall. Layla, I won't give you any more time to activate the time ring. Go to hell. Dongwu punched Layla directly. A few years ago, Dongwu transformed into Super Saiyan and was able to fight Layla. Now that his strength has increased again, even in Super Saiyan state, he can easily kill Layla. But in order to prevent Layla from using the time ring to escape, Dongwu directly adopted the highest level of transformation. Okay. Just kill Layla instantly without giving her any chance to escape. Dongwu's speed was so fast that Layla was punched away before she could react, causing her to scream violently. But Dongwu didn't stop when Layla flew upside down and couldn't control herself. A Qigong bullet appeared in the hand of Ji-woo. Smashing light cannon. The bright ki blast hit Layla, making it impossible for Layla to dodge. Under the crisis, Layla also tried her best. She knew she couldn't avoid it, so she gathered all her strength to hit Dongwu. She didn't use ki blast to block Dongwu's shattering light cannon because she knew she couldn't win. So she directly exchanged injuries for injuries, endured Dongwu's attack, and also hit Dongwu with ki blast. Let's die together. Gods and demons merge into one boat. This is a new move developed by Layla in the past few years, and its power is still higher than the Supreme Kai magic cannon many years ago. Layla's ideas and choices are the most correct and reasonable. Because with her fighting power, it is impossible to block Dongwu's ki blast. But Layla was unwilling to give in. She originally thought that she would be absolutely safe with Frieza and Jai-ko. But I didn't expect that Dongwu would have so many helpers. Even if there is a group fight now, there will still be someone left to pick up clothes. Dongwu, I will support you even if I die. Layla knew she would not be spared, so she attacked Dongwu with the idea of dying together. Quote. The two Qigong bombs exploded at the same time. Layla didn't even scream under the Dongwu ki blast, but was directly reduced to ashes. Facing Layla's attack, Dongwu didn't even bother to hide. If you bear it directly with your body, it will cause no harm at all. If you want to support me, your strength is still far behind. Dongwu shook his head disdainfully. Dongwu's strength today is much stronger than before. This attack is nothing at all. But something soon happened that frightened Dongwu. Layla's combined attack of gods and demons did not hurt Dongwu. But the entangled black and white energy actually penetrated into Dongwu's body one by one. What the hell is this? Dongwu said in horror, because as the entangled energy of black and white entered the body, Dongwu found that his cells and strength began to boil. Saiyan cells, super cells, and both energy stars began to boil. Brother, how are you? Hearing Dongwu's shouting, Dongla, who had been playing soy sauce, quickly came to Dongwu's side and said concernedly. If there is only one person in the world who cares about Dongwu, then it must be Dongla. No one cares about Dongwu more than her. Not including Dongwu's parents and brothers. The two have been dependent on each other for decades, and now they are husband and wife again and have their own child, Jill. In the hearts of Dongwu and Dongla, each other is the most important. Otherwise, Dongwu wouldn't have given up on the 18th without any nostalgia because of Dongli's tears. You must know that number 18 is the goddess Dongwu has dreamed of since his previous life. But because of Dongli's sadness and tears, Dongwu resolutely chose to make Dongla happy and give up the 18th floor. On the contrary, it would be the same if it were Dongla. Seeing Dongwu's ugly face and fear in his voice, Dongla also panicked. Although she didn't understand why Layla, who had only that little strength, could make Dongwu feel so uncomfortable. However, she was still worried about Dongwu. It's okay, but Layla's attack is a bit weird. You watch the battle between Broly and Son Goku first. If there are any problems, go up and help in time. I have to clear the impact of Layla's attack. I'm afraid there will be some trouble. After Dongwu finished speaking, before Dongla could speak, he went to an uninhabited planet via instant transmission. The ground was shattered, and Dongwu went deep underground and began to retreat. Dongwu also didn't expect that Layla had such a weird attack. The fruit is indeed a god that has lived for hundreds of millions of years, and some of its special abilities and moves are really weird and unpredictable. At this time, Dongwu's whole body was boiling with power, and the powers of Chuanchao and Super Saiyan were entangled and colliding with each other. Gods and demons confront each other in my mind, and good thoughts and evil thoughts arise one after another. What is more serious is Dongwu's super cells and Saiyan cells. They actually started to devour each other, or some even broke apart. Dongwu's body was left in a mess, riddled with holes like a honeycomb. If it weren't for the fact that Dongwu's spirit, energy and spirit merged with his body, Dongwu would have died at this time. Seeing that this was not the solution, Dongwu took out a bunch of fairy beans and randomly stuffed one into his mouth. I hope the fairy beans can help me get through this difficult time. But something Dongwu didn't expect happened. The fairy beans that can usually heal all injuries failed this time. It's such a big trouble. I didn't expect that Layla's power couldn't hurt me, but the energy left behind caused me such a big trouble. Dongwu frowned and had a headache. Layla, as a god, degenerated into a demon. Possessing the divine power of God and the darkness of demon. She has a divine body and can combine gods and demons into one. But Dongwu didn't, and the power of gods and demons began to wreak havoc. Divine power communicates the power of Super Saiyan, and the magic energy awakens the power of Super Saiyan. And under the leadership of the powers of gods and demons, the two began to entangle, confront and devour each other. The same is true for the transmission cells and Saiyan cells in the body. Devour each other, fuse with each other. There are some cells that are not very different from each other, and no one can engulf the other. It actually started to break, and then merged in pairs. This change happened so quickly that Dongwu was caught off guard. So much so that his whole body shattered into pieces and turned into a ball of soft flesh. But every cell of Dongwu has its own spiritual imprint, and it will not die. But the pain was unavoidable, and Dongwu felt like he wanted to find a crack in the ground and crawl into it to get rid of this torture. However, This pain and torture did not last long and was completed in just a few minutes. Quote. Dongwu was shocked. His cells had completely completed the work of engulfing each other, leaving only a special type of cells. This is the goal I have been working hard for several years. Yes, Dongwu has been working hard to fuse the two types of cells ever since Dongwu discovered that he had two types of cells due to the flesh and blood left behind by Cell's death. It has been several years now, but the last step is always missing. But today, under the attack of Lila's combination of gods and demons, led by divine power and magic, he actually completed this last step. 0.0. Layla discovered that Dongwu's body had two powers, and finally wanted to use the power of gods and demons to provoke a confrontation between Dongwu's body and achieve the purpose of disintegrating Dongwu's body. But she never expected that she would actually help Dongwu complete the final fusion. At the moment when Dongwu's physical body completed the fusion, the superpower and superpower also completed the final fusion. The moment Dongwu's physical body recovered, the golden red flames soared into the sky. Then it converges quickly. In fact, when Dongwu originally broke through the 8th level of Longxiang Boruo Gong, the two forces could fuse into a golden-green energy under the pressure of Tiangong Acupoint. That's why Dongwu can transform into Super Saiyan and Secret Saiyan at the same time. But usually, the two are different and have nothing to do with each other. Click, click, click. Dongwu's body made a sound similar to that of broken bones, but if you take it under a microscope, you will find that it is not the sound at all. This is when Dongwu's cells began to divide. All the cells divided at the same time, which is why there was this sound. Why do cells divide at the same time? If two cells fuse into one cell and no longer divide, then it has not become a tetraploid organism. Therefore, it must divide into two identical cells on average. This time, Dongwu's body completely became a complete, normal individual. The last matching point between Tiangong Acupoint and Disha Acupoint was completely connected at the moment when Dongwu's body was complete. The 10th level of Longxiang Boruo Gong is done. The 10th level of Dragon Elephant Prajna Paramita is called Dragon Elephant Prajna Paramita. Prajna. Great wisdom, great enlightenment, understanding the true and disputing the false. Polo. Reach the other shore and get rid of worries. Honey. It means fruit status and realm. The 10th level means reaching the Dragon Elephant stage with great wisdom. Dragon Elephant Extraordinary Being. If you practice to the 10th level of Dragon Elephant Prajna Kung Fu, it means you have become extraordinary and no longer an ordinary mortal. In the Chinese language of the previous life, it means transcending the ordinary and becoming holy, turning the ordinary into the Holy Spirit. At this time, Dongwu's transformation can indeed be called extraordinary and holy. At the 10th level of the Dragon Elephant Prajna Kung Fu, the 108 major acupoints in the sky are instantly like stars in the sky, shining all over Dongwu's body. Dongwu's Jodian acupoint emits 108 rays of auspicious light, washing Dongwu's whole body and soul. That is to say, the stars in the Dragon Ball world are different from those in the previous life. Otherwise, Dongwu felt that with this kind of magic, he might be able to attract the light of the stars in the sky. Moreover, 108 auspicious lights in the sky form a complete network of heaven and earth, which are engraved on the physical body and protect the body. Is this the body of the Holy Spirit that transcends the ordinary world? It is indeed not weaker than the divine body in this world. Dongwu felt the strong power coming from his body, the indestructible strength. Dongwu finally confirmed that his body is really not weaker than Supreme Kai's divine body. Dongwu's body has always crushed opponents of the same level, but he was suppressed by Layla. Only then did he realize that the gods in this world were not useless, and his body was not absolutely powerful. But now, he really feels it. The feeling that the body is not weaker than the Supreme Kai body is really different. In fact, Dongwu's current body of the Holy Spirit is the divine body of this world. If Dongwu can understand the realm of God now, with his divine body and divine power, he can become the God of this world. And he is also the first non-canonized God in the world. The so-called canonized gods are gods such as Supreme Kai, King of Kai and gods of destruction. According to Dragon Ball Super, they are all gods canonized by Zeno. However, when a god abdicates or dies, the god's throne can be passed on. And Dongwu was cultivated by himself. It's not canonized, it's not inherited. Both the divine power and the divine body were cultivated by oneself. It's just that he doesn't have the realm of God yet, so he is only transcending the world and becoming a saint, and has not truly shed his mortal roots. But even so, Dongwu can be called a demigod. Okay, now it's time to watch Vegeta and Son Goku fight Broly. Although Dongwu was excited, he also knew that there was still a home battle waiting to happen. Although it takes a lot of time to write, Dongwu actually takes less than half an hour. In such a short time, the battle cannot end so quickly. First, we came to the battlefield between Broly and Son Goku and found that Frieza was almost dying. After all, this is not Ginyu's original body, so there will always be some disharmony. Although the fighting ability is not weaker than Son Goku, when fighting, the flaw exposed by that little bit of incoordination is enough for Son Goku to beat him. Dongwu even suspected that if the real Frieza had been practicing for so long, even if he hadn't turned into Golden Frieza, he would definitely be close. It was because Ginyu controlled his body that he was downgraded and could only transform into Silver Frieza. Son Goku, there is no way I can lose to you. Ginyu, who was beaten in a fancy way, shouted angrily with Frieza's body. Can he not be angry? He was defeated at the hands of Son Goku in Namek. I thought that by obtaining Frieza's body and evolving into the silver form, I would definitely be able to defeat Son Goku. But now, he was beaten crazily. He was so angry that he couldn't contain it. Humph, Ginyu, today is the day you die. Son Goku also responded, not taking Ginyu's words to heart at all. Son Goku's side went smoothly, but Broly's side was at a disadvantage. Jaiko is really powerful, even Broly can barely cope with it. Although it has been more than 10 years since Jaiko appeared in the animation, Jaiko has not yet reached the height of the animation. However, he still firmly suppressed Broly. His sharp and crazy style of play was more like a passing game than Broly's. Ha 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 ha, I am the strongest Saiyan. Broly, even if you are a Super Saiyan, you are not my opponent. Ha ha ha. Jaiko laughed crazily while fighting. His performance looks like a lunatic to outsiders. Seeing this, Dongwu was afraid of Layla, but also surprised and admired her talent. Relying on the genes of an ordinary Saiyan, this monster-like Saiyan transformer was cultivated. HMPH, wait until you defeat me before you talk nonsense. Broly snorted disdainfully. Although he is at a disadvantage, there won't be any problems for a while. Coupled with his super physique, his strength will become stronger and stronger. As long as you fail to defeat him quickly, you will eventually be beaten to death by him. And more importantly, if there is really danger, Dongla will go up and help. If we wait for Son Goku to solve Ginyu, the master will not lose to Rico. Seeing that everything was okay for the time being, Dongwu instant transmission came to the battlefield between Vegeta and Majin Buu. However, the battlefield at this time is no longer on the Earth, but has moved to the Supreme Kai world. And the one fighting at this time is not Vegeta, but Son Gohan. Majin Buu is no longer Fat Buu, but Evil Buu. Evil Buu is as thin as in the anime. But one thing is different. In the animation, he is black, but this Evil Buu is still pink. At this time, Son Gohan is also in a mysterious state, and Evil Buu is no match at all. He didn't even have room to fight back, and was beaten by Son Gohan in a fancy way. You must know that in the original work, even after absorbing Gotenks and Piccolo, Majin Buu is still no match for the mysterious lunch. At this time, if there is just Evil Buu, the gap will naturally be even greater. But don't underestimate Majin Buu just like that. In the original work, Son Gohan was absorbed by him unexpectedly because he underestimated him. Even if he was rescued in the end, he absorbed enough energy from their bodies and returned to the original Buu state. In fact, the current Evil Buu can be said to be the original Buu. It's just that because of the lack of energy, the strength has not been restored and the body looks very thin. In the original work, after he absorbed many warriors, he used the powerful energy in their bodies to replenish his own consumption. So in the end, even if all the warriors were rescued, Evil Buu still became original Buu. With a warrior in his body, he can change his form and gain more power. Without the warrior inside him, the restored Majin Buu is the original Buu. So, this evil skinny Buu is the hungry original Buu. The horror of the original Buu lies in his evil, crazy desire for destruction, his fighting consciousness and instinct, and his almost immortal body. And because all other thoughts and ideas are excluded, therefore, it is more pure and the recovery ability is greatly enhanced. At this time, the three battles in the universe have received countless attention. Especially the Battle of Majin Buu, because of the fear of the gods, most eyes are on him. At this time, both Supreme Kai and the old Supreme Kai are paying attention to Majin Buu, but they have moved away from the Supreme Kai world. The only ones still in the Supreme Kai world are Evil Buu, Fat Buu, Son Gohan and Vegeta. Gohan, this Majin Buu is too weak. Get rid of him quickly and let's go see how Kakarot's battle goes. Vegeta urged from the side, looking impatient. He fought well just now and is about to eliminate Majin Buu. As a result, Son Gohan's potential was developed by the old Supreme Kai, and he realized that he could normalize the power of Super Saiyan just like himself. I have to ask for a shift change and have a fight with Majin Buu. Vegeta was also helpless. After his nephew said it, he didn't care. But speaking of it, Son Gohan's qualifications are indeed good, and his regular combat effectiveness in the Super League is also very strong. But fighting is too childish, and he is a little arrogant. No, he kept beating Majin Buu but refused to kill him. This is how this evil Buu came about. Big Fat Buu, the Buu who did not separate the evil, but the Buu who separated, was angered by Son Gohan's beating, and released this evil Buu in anger. But Son Gohan still didn't learn his lesson and decided to deal with Majin Buu quickly. He was still playing and beating the children, which made Vegeta tired. Uncle Vegeta, this Majin Buu is too weak. In this case, let's deal with him. Son Gohan also felt that he had gone too far, scratching the back of his head in embarrassment and laughing. Then prepared to destroy Majin Buu in one fell swoop. Weak, you dare to say that I am weak? If I hadn't lost too much energy due to millions of years of sealing, none of you would be my opponent. Majin Buu saw that the other party was getting serious, and wanted to destroy himself directly, and even said that he was weak. He was immediately unhappy, and was also afraid of being killed, so he deliberately provoked Son Gohan and Vegeta. Not to mention, these two people are now more arrogant than the other, and they really do this. Really? Then how do you restore energy? Vegeta also stood up at this time and looked at Majin Buu with interest. His fight just now was not enough. Whether it was Big Fat Buu or the current evil Skinny Buu, there was a huge gap between him and him. Hehe. There are two ways for me to recover my strength. One is to absorb enough warriors, such as Fat Buu behind you. He is one with me, so the effect is best. The other is to recover slowly, but it requires 100 years' time. Majin Buu smiled slyly, knowing that these two people were attracted to each other. Then he is temporarily safe and the plan succeeds. 100 years? Are you kidding? Saiyan only has 80 years of youth. What a fart after 100 years. Therefore, it is safe to say that Vegeta and Son Gohan must have chosen him to absorb Fat Buu. In fact, there was nothing wrong. Just when the two agreed, Dongwu spoke up. Actually, there is another way. Fat Buu is still very cute after releasing his evil part. Chubby, innocent heart. Dongwu didn't want him and Kid Buu to be eliminated together. He was absorbed by Skinny Buu, but no one would risk saving him. Uncle Dongwu, what else can you do? Tell me quickly, I can't wait. Son Gohan said impatiently. Not only Son Gohan, but also Vegeta looked eager. Dongwu actually disagrees with their ideas, and the enemy should eliminate him. But let them suffer, Kid Buu is not so easy to deal with. Anyway, as long as he is here, Majin Buu can't make any waves. There is a fairy bean here. It can not only heal injuries, but also replenish physical strength. Take it. Dongwu threw a fairy bean and was caught by Slender Buu. Fairy beans can not only recover injuries, but are also absolutely effective in restoring physical strength, allowing the body to return to its best condition. In the original book, when Son Goku came back from the snake path, Meow Sage gave Son Goku 2 fairy beans to restore his strength. Yes, there are beans. Vegeta and Son Gohan's eyes lit up and they understood Dongwu's thoughts. Majin Buu doesn't quite believe in this bean, but thinking about it, it doesn't pose a threat to him. So he swallowed the fairy beans in one gulp, and then saw his figure quickly recover, and finally transformed into Kid Buu state. Ha ha ha, The little puppet looked at his body and felt the power coming from his body. Kid Buu laughed happily. It's too messy. Just kill him while he's weak. Old Supreme Kai was so anxious that he couldn't stop him. It's such a nonsense to let him regain his strength. They don't know how scary Majin Buu is. Supreme Kai also frowned and said as if he hated iron. Forget it, with Dongwu here, there shouldn't be any big problems. In the end, the old Supreme Kai waved his hand and said a little discouraged. However, he still recognized Dongwu's strength. Although I don't know what his strength is now. But 7 years ago he exploded with power that was not weaker than Majin Buu, so he should be stronger now. Old Supreme Kai thought, well, Dongwu didn't care about Majin Buu at all. In other words, in this universe, the only things Dongwu is afraid of now are gods of destruction Beerus and Angel Whis. Majin Buu, you are recovered now, let me see your power. Son Gohan entered a fighting state and said with high fighting spirit. Hee hee ha ha ha, want to die? Then I will help you. Majin Buu smiled evilly and said to Son Gohan fiercely. Then he was seen rushing towards Son Gohan like a big red bug. Bring it on. Son Gohan also broke out with the strongest combat power and started a battle with Majin Buu. At this time, Majin Buu, who has restored the original Buu, Kid Buu state, is no longer weaker than the mysterious lunch, and even a little stronger. This is a guess after being rescued from Son Gohan and not participating in the battle. It may not be accurate, but just treat it like this. For a time, Son Gohan was at a disadvantage. Coupled with Majin Buu's various bizarre abilities and near-immortal body. Mysterious lunch was a big loss and I suffered a lot. It's really strong. Son Gohan jumped away from Majin Buu's attack range and said solemnly. He didn't expect that Majin Buu would be so strong after recovering, and only then did he realize that he had been overconfident. Next to them, Vegeta and Dongwu watched quietly, watching the battle over the mysterious lunch. As for Fat Buu, he is in a coma at this time. I have to say, Son Gohan in a mysterious state. He has strong fighting instinct and awareness and performs well in all aspects. Unfortunately, I met a stronger Kid Buu. Hey hey hey. Watching Son Gohan dodge, Kid Buu smiled evilly, then kicked the ground, his whole foot sinking into the ground. Seeing this, Dongwu's eyelids twitched. Others didn't know Kid Buu's plan. How could Dongwu, who had read the original work, not know it? Son Goku had suffered this loss in the original work. But Dongwu didn't intend to remind him, he just said that he would let Son Gohan suffer. Although this child is stronger than the original, he has never relaxed in his training. But his character that becomes arrogant once he gains great power has not changed much. Let him suffer more, and he will know after he suffers a few more losses. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Dongwu guessed right. Kid Buu hid his feet underground, then extended his legs to sneak attack Son Gohan. Son Gohan was kicked away without any precautions. Then Kid Buu controlled his feet and continued to attack quickly. For a time, Son Gohan fell into a passive situation of being beaten, and was stunned by Kid Buu's beating. Hee hee, ha ha ha. Kid Buu was attacking, holding his stomach and laughing. It seems that he is laughing at Son Gohan's overestimation of his abilities and his pride in his own intelligence. Cut. Vegeta curled his lips in disdain, and Dongwu also shook his head. Son Gohan is still too young and too self-righteous in battle. Even though their combat prowess is almost the same, they still dare not to keep an eye on Kid Buu's movements. Son Gohan was also angry, and powerful arrogance spurted out from his body. Dongwu's eyelids jumped because he felt Son Gohan's power increased a lot in an instant. Sure enough, Son Gohan's power will increase with anger. However, this may not necessarily lead to victory. The evaluation of Son Gohan, Dongwu is very simple. The potential is endless, but the flaws are obvious. Ha! In anger, Son Gohan fought with Majin Buu again. The two of them were going back and forth, and the fight was quite intense. The Supreme Kai world, the hardest in the universe, has been battered with craters, and the mountains and landscapes have been rapidly deformed. At this time, Son Gohan and Kid Buu were evenly matched in terms of strength and combat. But because Kid Buu is flexible, his moves are effective, and his behavior money is good as unpredictable. So Son Gohan still suffers a little loss occasionally. But overall, there is not much difference. Vegeta, it seems that Gohan is unable to destroy Majin Buu. I will take action later, you go to Saiyan Star first. The battle there is more suitable for you. Dongwu shook his head. Son Gohan couldn't beat Majin Buu, and Vegeta would also have a hard time. Although Vegeta's strength is slightly stronger than Son Gohan, it is also extremely limited. Even if you can win, it's not easy to kill. However, the battle on Saiyan planet does suit Vegeta better. Regardless of whether it is controlled by Ginyu, Frieza's body has a blood feud with Vegeta. Or Jaiko, who is also a Saiyan. It has a great impact on Vegeta when fighting. But Dongwu's words made Vegeta's eyebrows jump and he had an aura on his face. I don't know instant transmission, do you want me to listen to Kakarot's memories? Vegeta yelled at Dongwu with an angry look on his face. After getting along with Dongwu for a long time, Vegeta found that Dongwu was not a difficult person to get along with. So Vegeta didn't have any scruples when speaking and just yelled. This made Dongwu embarrassed for a while. It's all instant transmission, so it's very convenient to come and go. But I forgot that Vegeta doesn't know how. If it really passes, I can only listen to the memories of Son Goku and Broly. Although it was an own mistake, how could Dongwu admit that he had made such a low-level mistake? He waved his hand and pretended that nothing happened. Okay, of course I know you don't know instant transmission. I will take you there of course. Dongwu said, holding the unconscious Fat Buu in one hand and putting the other on Vegeta's shoulder. Instant transmission was turned on, and he arrived at Saiyan Star in the blink of an eye. At this time, Ginyu could hardly hold on any longer. Being beaten continuously by Son Goku, he was completely unable to resist. However, Son Goku consumed me a lot, and I started to pant at this time. Super Saiyan 3, his total energy is the same as Super Saiyan 2, there is no essential improvement. However, he forcibly improved his output ability through transformation, so that Super Saiyan 3 could not fight for a long time at all. No wonder the old Supreme Kai said such a crude transformation method was going astray. This can be known from the original work. Vegeta once bought time for Son Goku to gather his energy and blocked Majin Buu with his life. However, Son Goku failed to gather enough energy in the end, so he ended up killing Majin Buu with a spirit bomb. Frieza, Kakarot, get out of my way. Vegeta, who came to Saiyan Star, saw Frieza controlled by Ginyu at a glance. Eyes full of hatred and anger, as well as endless humiliation. Planet Vegeta was destroyed, his father was killed, and Saiyan was exterminated. Frieza did all this, how could Vegeta not be angry and hateful? No matter how bad this nation was, Vegeta never thought of resurrecting Saiyan. But hate is still hate. In addition, he had been manipulated by Frieza for many years, so he naturally felt humiliated. The enemy was extremely jealous when they met. Vegeta immediately entered a mysterious state, kicked Son Goku away and stood in front of Jixi. Frieza, I'm going to kill you today. Vegeta, what are you doing? This is my opponent. Son Goku shouted dissatisfied. Majin Buu was robbed, and Frieza was finally robbed, not to mention how depressed Son Goku was. But he also knew that he was spending a lot of money, so he didn't persist. Vegeta takes action directly and doesn't touch any unnecessary words. This is the original Vegeta style, don't talk nonsense if you can do it. But after so many years on Earth, Vegeta has changed a lot. Not only has he become a good person, his actions are no longer as ruthless as before. But facing Frieza, Vegeta no longer had the idea of fighting calmly and fairly. He only had one thought, and that was to kill Frieza. On Broly's side, although Jaiko still had the upper hand, Broly had no chance to fight back. It can be said that Broly has survived the most difficult stage. The balance of strength and weakness gradually began to turn. Lele is optimistic about Buu, I will deal with the other Buu first. Dongwu threw Fat Buu next to Dongla and said to Dongla. Yeah, okay. Dongla nodded, but he didn't even look at Fat Buu and kept observing the battle above. Dongwu smiled and shook his head. Dongla was already the mother of a child, but he still had the same childish temperament as before. Now their daughter Jill is 6 years old, but Dongla has no awareness of being a mother at all. Dongwu ignored her and left Saiyan Star directly to the Supreme Kai world. This was only a short while, less than 10 minutes. Son Gohan has fallen into an absolute disadvantage. Although he still fought vigorously, anyone with a discerning eye will know at a glance that Son Gohan will lose sooner or later. Bang! Son Gohan was knocked away again, and Kid Buu followed up with a combination of punches that beat Son Gohan like a tennis ball. Hit him to the east, kick him to the west, smash him down and kick him up. Not to mention how embarrassed he was. Son Gohan became even more angry and his strength increased. But Son Gohan, who has lost his fighting rhythm and calm mentality, poses no threat to Majin Buu with all his strength. Soon, Kid Buu seized the opportunity again and was beaten for a while. At this time, Son Gohan basically sealed his defeat. Kid Buu kicked Son Gohan away again and then used a Qigong bomb to kill CGFF Son Gohan. But Dongwu, who couldn't stand it anymore, took action, slapped the Qigong bomb away, and slowly dropped Son Gohan's clothes to the ground. He casually left Son Gohan behind and taught him a lesson: go back and think carefully about where you went wrong and how to fight next time. Ignoring the somewhat lost Son Gohan, Dongwu came directly to Kid Buu. If you were not irrational, only cruel and destructive, you would be an excellent warrior. Dongwu said, shook his head sadly, and then said, pity, he, really? Kid Buu tilted his head and said with a cruel smile. Majin Buu has no reason, only cruelty and a desire for destruction. But it's not that Kid Buu doesn't have intelligence, just like a psychopath doesn't necessarily have a low IQ. Okay, you've made enough trouble, it's time to send you to hell. Dongwu sighed, not wanting to talk nonsense to Kid Buu anymore. This is a demon king who has existed since ancient times. If you can change things by just talking about them, then you don't deserve to be feared by the crowd. Ha 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 ha. Send me to hell. Ha 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 ha. Are you kidding? Ha ha ha. Kid Buu laughed so hard that he leaned forward and backward, holding his stomach and rolling on the ground. It was as if he had heard a big joke and didn't take Dongwu to heart at all. Oh, ignorance is also a kind of happiness, Dongwu said. A ki blast slowly formed in his hand. Smashing Light Kill Cannon. This was developed by Dongwu specifically for Majin Buu. Because of Majin Buu's recovery ability, normal moves are useless against Majin Buu. So a long time ago, he specially developed the Crushing Light Killing Cannon. This all-consuming attack is specifically designed to deal with Majin Buu, an opponent with super recovery ability. How could Majin Buu admit defeat? He gritted his teeth and stretched out his hand to catch the shattering light cannon. I'm not afraid of this kind of thing. Kid Buu is a pure aggregation of evil and has no concept of fear at all. In the original work, he even dared to reach out to pick up the spirit bomb. So much so that the spirit bomb, a pure and lethal force against evil, killed Kid Buu. It's a pity that Kid Buu has good courage, but his strength is incomparable to Dongwu. The moment he reached out and touched the shattering light-killing cannon, all 10 hands turned into flying ash. Then the arms and body quickly disappeared. Kid Buu roared angrily, but to no avail. I can only watch my body being shattered bit by bit. In the end, the demon who ravaged the ancient times and killed 4 Supreme Kai was eliminated by Dongwu with a ki blast. Supreme Kai and others, who were watching the battle on the other side of the universe, finally breathed a sigh of relief. Finally killed Majin Buu. Dongwu is so awesome. This is East King Kai's only emotion. Dongwu eliminated Kid Buu, Supreme Kai and the old Supreme Kai and returned to the Supreme Kai world. The old Supreme Kai looked at Dongwu with approval, but Supreme Kai looked at the devastated Supreme Kai world and wanted to cry without tears. This is the hardest and most sacred Supreme Kai world in the universe. It is the residence of the Supreme Kai of all generations, and it is also a place to observe and guide the creatures of the universe. Now it is completely destroyed. Where is the most sacred Supreme Kai world? This is simply a refugee camp. Looking at your worthless look, what does this level mean? You are Supreme Kai, won't you restore the Supreme Kai world? Seeing Supreme Kai's appearance, old Supreme Kai was furious. This junior is so embarrassing, he doesn't have the magnanimity and courage that Supreme Kai still has. The angry old Supreme Kai slapped Supreme Kai on the back of the head, looking like he hated iron. Ancestor, I don't feel sorry for you, I just think that such a sacred place as Supreme Kai should not suffer such a disaster. Supreme Kai said aggrievedly, but what can he do? He didn't dare to refute what his ancestor said, so he could only explain it in a low voice. Old Supreme Kai still looked annoyed, but didn't say anything else. It was also the time when the other Supreme Kai died. The current Supreme Kai was too young and did not receive much common sense education. That's why he seems so ignorant. I can only teach him slowly in the future. Dongwu, thank you very much this time. Otherwise, if we let Majin Buu continue to wreak havoc, I don't know how many people and planets would suffer. Old Supreme Kai was quite polite to Dongwu and said with a smile. Old Supreme Kai, you're welcome. This is what I should do. If there's nothing else, I'll go back to Saiyan Star first. There's still a battle going on over there. I'll trouble you to send the love meal to Earth. Wu said to him. Supreme Kai and Old Supreme Kai smiled. No problem, you can go with ease. Old Supreme Kai waved his hand, looking proud and proud. But what he said made Dongwu want to beat this old man so shamelessly. What does it mean to go with peace of mind? Curse me to death. However, Dongwu didn't care about this issue. He waved his hand and went to the Saiyan Star via instant transmission. At this time, Ginyu had been killed by Vegeta, and his body was reduced to ashes. Now only Jaiko is still fighting Broly. Ah ha ha, we're all here, now we can have a good fight. Jaiko laughed crazily, and the fight with Broly became more and more violent. Hey, Broly and Jaiko are so awesome. Son Goku's talent points are all focused on combat. In battle, his IQ is full, but after leaving the battle, his IQ is instantly cleared. At this time, he was still in the mood to care about the battle between Broly and Jaiko. By the way, haven't you seen that the Saiyan Star has collapsed and is about to fall apart? At this time, shouldn't we be concerned about how to survive after the Saiyan Star explodes? Although Son Goku can instant transmission, he is not afraid of dying in the universe. But, isn't this too ambitious? Dongwu was speechless. He really couldn't complain about Son Goku and didn't know what to say. In the original novel, it was really not easy for Chi-Chi to maintain a family. Jaiko, you have no advantage now. If you don't have other means, you can't even pass my level. Although Broly still has a slight disadvantage at this time, it is no longer very obvious. It can already be seen as being evenly matched with Jaiko. In addition, in the fierce battle, his strength is still growing rapidly. Obviously, if Jaiko had this strength, it would be impossible to defeat Broly. Ha ha ha, you are right, if this kind of strength is indeed no match for you. But you have forgotten a little. Although I was genetically modified from Son Goku's blood, I also contain the god of Supreme Kai in my body. Genes. Now, let you see my true form. Jaiko laughed loudly and forced Broly back with one move. As he started to transform, Dongwu instantly thought of the form of Jaiko in the anime. When Dongwu first met Jaiko, he could recognize him at a glance, mainly because of the corners of his forehead and chin. But he always felt that it was a little different from the anime, and now he finally understood. It turns out that Jaiko also transformed, but Jaiko always maintained that form in the animation, which made me mistakenly think that Jaiko was born like that. Dongwu frowned. Jaiko was already so strong at this time. If he transformed again, wouldn't it be stronger? What kind of monster did Layla create? Drink. Jaiko didn't care what others thought, he started his own transformation. Jaiko, who was created by mixing Son Goku's Saiyan genes and Layla's divine genes, finally revealed his true form. Boom. Golden white arrogance rose, Jaiko's hair lengthened, and his body was covered with gray-white fur. This is the form of Super Saiyan 4. However, Jaiko did not understand the realm of God, nor did he even have divine power. This is the fourth form revealed by the alien divine body forcibly condensed with powerful power and divine genes, plus Saiyan's genes. Trouble. Broly is no match. When Dongwu saw Jaiko's transformation, he immediately knew that Broly could not be his opponent. Although Layla's combat power is average, she is truly a god, and her divine body is also real. Jaiko has her genes in his body, and coupled with his powerful strength, he has directly condensed a strange divine body similar to the Super Hazard 4. The so-called alien divine body means that the body has completely reached the strength of the divine body, but it is not a true divine body. The most fundamental difference is that it cannot produce divine power. Broly, come back. Dongwu quickly asked Broly to come back, otherwise he would really die. Boom. Dongwu didn't waste any time and directly transformed into a secret race. Now his body has completely condensed the divine body, which is relatively more powerful than Jaiko's divine body. So at this time, only Dongwu can deal with Jaiko. In addition, Dongwu can directly generate divine power, so he will have an advantage in this regard. But the specific situation still depends on the combat effectiveness of the two people. Good. Looking at Dongwu's solemn look and serious expression, he also looked at Jaiko's changes. Brawley also knew that Jaiko was in an unusual state. Although he was unwilling to do so, he could only nod helplessly and retreat. Jaiko, I really didn't expect that you have grown to this point. If I give you another 10 years, I'm afraid it will really surprise everyone. Dongwu replaced Brawley and walked to Jaiko with a serious and approving look on his face. HMPH, you're not bad either. But I'm definitely stronger. Jaiko did not deny Dongwu's power, but he was more confident in his own strength. Whoever is stronger will fight in the aisle. The chi on Dongwu and Jaiko began to rise, and everything around them began to be shattered and annihilated. Seeing this situation, Son Goku quickly took everyone away from Saiyan Star, leaving only Dongwu and Jaiko. Quote. The momentum and energy of the two people have reached their peak at the same time, and the battle is about to break out. Jaiko transformed into a form similar to Super Saiyan 4, while Dongwu went directly to Secret Saiyan form. And because of the complete fusion of Xuanchao physique and Saiyan cells, it has broken through the 10th level of Dragon Elephant Prajna Gong. Condensed Divine Body. At this time, Dongwu's secret tournament state was no worse than Jaiko's Super 4-like transformation. He is even stronger than Jaiko because he can produce divine power. Ha ha ha, I am a divine body, please wake up. Jaiko became more and more crazy and violent. The powerful force is simply unscrupulous, and there is no scruple in taking action. He doesn't care if the planet is broken or the star field is damaged. The two people bumped into each other firmly, elbowing each other without any fancy. Just the duel of strength caused 10 large canyons to open in the riddled land of Saiyan Star. Do you think you are the only one with a divine body? 750. Dongwu laughed mockingly. If Jaiko and others had just turned into a god when they first arrived, he would have been helpless. But unfortunately, he actually condensed his complete divine body under the move that killed Layla. In this way, Jaiko would not have the slightest advantage. Bang bang bang. Dongwu and Jaiko attacked each other, and outsiders could not see the fighting scene. However, although the battle scene cannot be seen, judging from the place where Saiyan Star was smashed, the battle sounds very fierce. Dongwu also frowned a little during the fight. He couldn't understand Jaiko's transformation mechanism. When he hadn't transformed into a Category 4 just now, his strength was similar to that of the Chuan Chao 2 and Super Saiyan 3. As for the transformation into Super 4, his strength improvement was not as great as expected. It's just equivalent to the increase from Super Series 2 to Super Series 4. Rather than the increase from normal Saiyan to Super Saiyan 4. It turns out you only have this little power. I'm really disappointed. After fighting for a while and figuring out the details of Jaiko, Dongwu shook his head and was a little disappointed. He originally thought he could meet an evenly matched opponent, but unfortunately there was still some gap. How much has Jaiko's strength increased compared to before? About 40 times. It's similar to GT Son Goku's increase from Super 2 to Super 3 Gold Great Ape. The increase of Great Ape is 10 times of its own strength, and the increase of Super 3 is 4 times of Super 2. This is also speculation, because there will be no such thing as combat effectiveness in the later stage. Soon, Saishu will also abandon this method of calculating combat effectiveness. What is the combat power of Broliden Super 2 and Son Goku Super Saiyan 3? They are stronger than Big Fat Buu and equal to Kid Buu, about 600 billion. Another 40-fold increase would be 24 trillion, which is 24 trillion. 1 trillion equals 1000 billion. And what is Dongwu's combat power? The normal level has reached a terrifying 50 billion. And what is the increase in Dongwu's secret tournament now? Originally, the increase in Secret Tournament 2 was 400 times, and now after condensing the divine body, the increase has doubled again. It's 800 times more terrifying. Added together, Dongwu's combat power in the Secret Tournament state is 40 trillion. Exceeding 50% of Jaiko's combat power, there is not much suspense anymore. In fact, Dongwu guessed that Jaiko just now was not the normal state, but Jaiko's super second state. It's just that he has turned Super 2 into a full power state, and maintaining this state does not consume physical energy. Therefore, Jaiko's Super 4 has only increased by 4,000 times. Moreover, Jaiko did not truly transform into Super 4. Rather, it is a state of forcible cohesion through Lila's divine genes. However, even this is terrifying. With a combat power of 24 trillion, in today's universe except himself and gods of destruction Beerus and Angel Whis, no one is his opponent. Fortunately, it's not an increase from normal to Super 4, or a real Super 4 increase. Otherwise, I can only escape to the Supreme Kai world and let Supreme Kai take me to the gods of destruction world to awaken Beerus. Dongwu was also secretly glad that Jaiko was really terrifying. I really don't know how strong Jaiko, who has transformed into Super 5 after more than 10 years, is. Ha ha ha. Dongwu, stop bragging, you are just as good as me. Jaiko had no idea that Dongwu didn't use all his strength, and he didn't suffer any loss from the fight just now. So I'm not afraid of Dongwu at all. Really? Then I'll show you my true fighting power. Dongwu said loudly, and then began to show all his power. 40 megabits versus 24 megabits. With a gap of more than 50%, Jaiko was completely crushed. From this moment on, Jaiko no longer had much room to fight back. Bang bang bang. Dongwu continued to attack Jaiko, and powerful power exploded on Jaiko. But Jaiko was a god after all, and the power difference was less than 100%. Although Dongwu crushed Jaiko, he couldn't kill him instantly. Attack after attack, Jaiko's injuries continued to worsen. But he was never beaten to death, which surprised Dongwu. This guy's ability to resist being hit is really strong. But no matter how strong the ability to resist being hit is, it is of no use. A drop of water can penetrate a stone, not to mention Dongwu's attack on Jaiko. Ah, Saiyan, I won't lose to you. Jaiko was beaten so hard that he kept screaming and roaring angrily. I tried to fight back many times, but to no avail. What came instead was an even more violent attack. His body was covered with scars and dripping with blood. The prolonged beating made Jaiko increasingly angry. Finally, Jaiko could no longer bear the humiliation. Die, die, this universe will be buried with me. Dongwu, you will die with me too. Jaiko's body suddenly began to expand, and powerful strength began to gather. Self-destruction. Dongwu suddenly understood Jaiko's thoughts. This trick was used by both Cell and Vegeta in the original work. HMPH, I'm not Son Goku. Dongwu snorted coldly and directly activated the power of time and space and instant transmission, bringing Jaiko into the void of the universe. There was nothing all around, not to mention any living things, not even a single planet. If Jaiko is in the battle, Dongwu really can't do anything about. But now he wants to self-destruct and his body cannot move, which gives Dongwu a chance. You can self-destruct on your own, I'm not interested in accompanying you. Dongwu quickly retreated and watched Jaiko self-destruct from a distance. Even if Jaiko self-destructs, he will not be affected, and he can still watch him to prevent him from escaping. Ah, I won't accept it. Jaiko shouted unwillingly, but there was nothing he could do. I saw his body swelling more and more, until it finally resembled a rubber ball. Jaiko self-destructed, and the entire dark void suddenly became brighter. Even planets far away were affected and trembled slightly with poison. Dongwu returned to Saiyan Star and felt heartbroken when he saw the torn-apart planet. After all, this is also the planet where Saiyan now lives and has lived for many years. Fortunately, Dongwu had the foresight, otherwise Saiyan, which had just made some progress, would have suffered heavy losses. Fortunately this is the Dragon Ball world, otherwise we would have to find another planet. Although there are many uninhabited planets in the Dragon Ball world, there are also many planets suitable for human habitation. But you can't keep moving, right? That would be outrageous. Let's go to Earth first. Dongwu decided to go to Earth and use Dragon Ball to restore Saiyan Star. But suddenly he frowned and saw a green ring in the distance. Lila's time ring. Dongwu doesn't know much about the time ring, its specific function. Dongwu currently knows that there is only one that travels through different parallel spaces. In fact, in Dragon Ball Super, the function of the time ring is introduced, which can only be used by Supreme Kai with Pola earrings, and is a prop used to observe future development. Only Supreme Kai can use it, no one else can. And you can only go to the future at 26, and going back to the past is against the crime of time. Originally, there was only one silver ring of time, and the green one was the new time and space ring that was born due to the creation of parallel time and space. With a green space-time ring, you can travel to parallel time and space and enter different points in time. Dongwu picked up the space-time ring and wanted to try it, but when he found it was useless, he kept it in his arms and abandoned it. After using Dragon Ball to summon Shenron and restore the Saiyan star to its original state, Dongwu summoned all Saiyan back. Today, after 7 years of development, Saiyan has grown a lot in number of people. Now there are more than 2,000 people, more than double the original number. Although it didn't meet Dongwu's expectations, it wasn't too far behind. After Saiyan became regular again, Dongwu stayed at Saiyan Star to understand his future path. He has reached the edge of transforming into a Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan 4. If he had given up one of the transformations, he might have entered the form of a god now. But unfortunately, he chose to keep it all and enter the realm of God in the mysterious Saiyan form. Then Super Saiyan IV or Super Saiyan God are not suitable for him. But entering the realm of gods is not that easy. Although he already has a divine body, the realm is more troublesome. In Dragon Ball Super, Son Goku used the power of 6 righteous Saiyans to first realize the state of Super Saiyan God, and then developed Super Saiyan Blue. In Dragon Ball GT, Son Goku transformed into a golden ape by treating the earth as the moon. Later, because of her granddaughter Xiaofang's tears, she regained consciousness, controlled the power in her body, and transformed into Super Saiyan 4. Vegeta also transformed into a golden giant ape through Zephyr light waves, and then transformed into Super Saiyan IV. It can be said that if Dongwu chooses these two paths, with lessons learned from past mistakes, one can easily enter the godlike realm. But Dongwu doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be just like a god, he wants to become a real god. Moreover, the super cells and Saiyan cells in his body have completely fused, and it is almost impossible to become one of them alone. Time flies like water, and 3 years have passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Dongwu was studying how to enter the realm of God. An ethereal yet sacred aura landed on the Saiyan star, causing Dongwu to wake up instantly. Dongwu came to the point where the breath landed in an instant, and a little Lolita with brown-red hair and pink skin appeared in Dongwu's sight. Supreme Kai of Time. Dongwu's eyebrows wrinkled. This little Lolita is another supreme god in the universe. There are 2 supreme gods in one universe, Supreme Kai and gods of destruction. According to Dragon Ball Super, there are 12 universes and parallel universes in the entire universe, as well as a large number of fragmented universes. And all the time of this universe is managed by the Supreme Kai of Time. However, her status is only on the same level as Supreme Kai and gods of destruction. Because Supreme Kai and gods of destruction are not within the jurisdiction of Supreme Kai of Time. In the words of China in the previous life, Supreme Kai and gods of destruction have jumped out of the 3 realms and are not in the 5 elements. The Supreme Kai of Time cannot control them. Dongwu, I am the Supreme Kai of Time. I am here to bring back Lila's time ring. Kaiyan jumped up to Dongwu, then stretched out her pink little hand and asked him for the time ring. She is the Supreme Kai of Time who controls the power of time in all time and space, and the time and space ring related to time is naturally under her jurisdiction. The time ring is exclusive to Supreme Kai and cannot fall into the hands of outsiders. Dongwu also understood this, so he didn't insist. It's useless to stay here anyway, so why not just be a favor and return it to Supreme Kai of Toki? Well, there's no point keeping this thing here with me. You can take it. Dongwu gave Kai Yin the time ring that had been thrown away in a corner for several years, and then said with a smile, "Thank you for your generosity. In order to thank you for returning the space-time ring, I can fulfill your request." Kai Yin happily put away the time ring, with a delicate little face smiling like a flower. Dongwu had to admit that she was indeed a legal Lolita. Lived for more than 75 million years. She actually has the same appearance and personality as a little loli. Originally, Dongwu had no intention of making a request, but when Kai Yin said this, Dongwu was really moved. The beauty of the supreme Kai of time. I have been trying to understand the realm of God, but I have not had a clue for several years. I hope the beauty of the supreme Kai of time can help me solve my confusion. Since he was asking for help from others, Dongwu felt that he should say something nice. As a woman, well, she is a little lowly. Although this lowly is already 75 million years old, should also like to hear others say she is beautiful, right? Sure enough, Supreme Kai's smile immediately turned into a flower. He nodded happily, and then said happily, "Want me to give you some advice?" Dongwu's head was spinning like a chicken eating rice. He had not had a clue for several years. It's like seeing a stunning beauty who has already taken off all her clothes. When she was about to take off her pants and take possession of her, she suddenly found that she couldn't find her private part. It's so uncomfortable to hold back. But I can't. Just when Dongwu thought he was finally going to achieve his goal, Kane suddenly gasped for breath. The 180-degree turn in his tone made Dongwu almost choke before he could catch his breath. $. In Dongwu's heart, 10,000 alpacas, grass mud horses were galloping and roaring. Aren't you still so confident? Aren't you still so at ease? Of course, you can't say this. After all, he is also one of the supreme gods of the universe, so it is better not to offend him. Giggle, it's so fun. The supreme Kai of time laughed like a silver bell and clapped his hands while laughing. Dongwu was so angry that he wanted to beat her up, this scheming little Lolita. But Kaiyan still brought good news to Dongwu. Although I don't know how to do it, I know someone who can teach you. Originally, Dongwu was already disappointed. Even the supreme Kai of time could not teach the realm of God. Who else could? But the next words of Kaiyan gave Dongwu unlimited hope. Who is it? Dongwu asked eagerly. He was almost driven crazy by the realm of gods and had no clue for 3 years. Although the combat power is increasing every moment, it does not help the realm of God at all. He has condensed his divine body and given birth to divine power. It can be said that we are already halfway to the realm of God, and we are just about to reach the final goal. But this last step blocked him for 3 years. Seeing the vast Tianlong right in front of me, I can only stay in the cage. He has a divine body, but he has divine power but cannot exert the power that a god should have. It's still a mortal battle mode, which makes me feel aggrieved just thinking about it. You may have never heard of this man. He just calls Angel Whis. He is the master and god of the gods of destruction Beerus in your time. Supreme Kai nodded her cute little head seriously, but the words she said made Dongwu want to hit someone. Of course he knows Whis, but the key point is why should he teach him? 1. He is not the gods of destruction. Whis' duty is to guide the gods of destruction. 2nd, I am not Son Goku and Vegeta, and I don't have their ability to be loved by everyone, which would make Whis willing to guide them in their cultivation. Say it is the same as never saying it. Dongwu muttered in his heart. This is simply unrealistic. Although the foodie at Whis is very easygoing, he can't be invited by just anyone. In addition to eating, this foodie also. Wait a minute, foodie. Eat, by the way, delicious food. Dongwu thought about food, and suddenly thought of how to bribe Whis. This angel is a real foodie, and he can sell Beerus if he has delicious food. In Dragon Ball Super, Vegeta and Son Goku only used delicious food to impress Beerus and Whis. Even because the two of them could provide delicious food, Whis once joked and asked them to do gods of destruction. Beerus was so angry that his teeth started to itch. Beautiful Supreme Kai of Time, can you contact Whis? Dongwu was excited. As long as he could contact Whis, as long as Whis came, he would have a way to capture Whis' appetite and make him reluctant to leave. When the time comes, wouldn't asking him for help be a distraction? You must know that China was a country of gourmet food in its previous life. There was once a man who said he wanted to eat all over China in 2 years, but 4 years later he still hasn't left the capital of Shu province. One can imagine how many delicacies there were in China in previous lives. Although Dongwu doesn't know much, he was a Taoist monk in his previous life, and they all cooked in the Taoist temple, so he also learned a few tricks. But the only flaw is that he doesn't know how to barbecue. This is a magical survival skill in the wild. He has no interest in learning it if he doesn't go out. However, the few skills I have learned can be used to cope with the world of Dragon Ball where there is no delicious food. Anyway, in all these years, Dongwoo has never eaten food that tastes better than in his previous life. Of course, Whis and I are good friends. Just wait. Legal little lowly Supreme Kai waved her little staff, and then a person appeared in her Dharma crystal. Whis, come on, I have something good for you. The little lowly Kaiyan said in a deceitful manner, but her innocent little face made people feel particularly cute. However, you are already 75 million years old, how can you not act cute? Okay, Kaiyan, I don't believe you will think of me if you have good things. I won't be fooled by you. You will definitely ask me to help in vain again. If you don't go. Whis obviously knows the Supreme Kai of time very well, after all, they have been colleagues for tens of millions of years. Oh Whis, you really have to believe me this time. Really, this time it's a real connection. Kane was anxious, his delicate little face full of eagerness. And the serious guarantee is true, making Dongwoo want to laugh. This little lowly really cheated people to death without repaying her life. Where did the good stuff come from? It's just a scam with nothing. The two words are deceiving. However, this is just to help myself, why should I help Kane trick Whis here? This duck you got, well, you got the master, you can't let him run away. Dongwoo hurried over and said to the magic staff, Whis Angel, I have the most delicious food in the universe. Do you want to come and try it? Happy looked at Dongwoo dumbfounded, wondering how Dongwoo knew Whis's hobbies. But this would be a big trouble, and it would be fine if you deceive him yourself. But a mortal fooled him. The consequences are very serious. After all, Kai Yin had a good heart and was afraid that Dongwoo would get into trouble, so he kept winking at Dongwoo. Dongwoo turned around and gave her a reassuring expression and continued to look at Whis. Good. Whis basically agreed without thinking and closed the call. A few minutes later, a colorful light fell from the sky and landed next to Kai Yin and Dongwoo. Where is the food? Where is it? After Whis arrived, he didn't even look at Kai Yin and Dongwoo. His eyes kept glancing, trying to find traces of delicious food. When there is no food in sight, Whis' face looks bad-eye. After all, he is the strongest man in the universe and the master of the supreme gods of destruction Beerus. Being fooled by a mortal would be unpleasant to anyone. Seeing that Whis was a little unhappy, Dongwoo quickly explained. Whis Angel, I won't lie to you when I say I have the most delicious delicacies in the universe. But it takes a while to make the delicacies, so please wait a moment. After Dongwoo finished speaking, he found a large iron pot and set it up. Then the ingredients were placed one by one, with various condiments. Finally, light the fire and cook. Dongwoo cooked a total of 5 dishes: mapo tofu, twice cooked pork, sweet and sour fish, spicy chicken, and a seaweed and egg drop soup. Okay, try my handiwork. The soup dishes were all served, and Dongwoo took out chopsticks and spoons for Whis to taste. It smells delicious. I have never smelled such a unique fragrance. It must taste good. I'll eat it first. After Whis finished speaking, he didn't give others a chance to object. He directly used his chopsticks to pick up a piece of mapo tofu. My eyes widened for a moment, then I closed my eyes and tasted it slowly. It's really delicious, Jiaodiz, I'll try the other ones. Then I saw that Whis's chopsticks didn't stop, they were clattering like a gust of wind, and the whole table of dishes was gone. To be honest, Whis eats very politely, but his speed puts most Saiyan to shame. Maybe it's because of the habit of competing with Beerus for food that he has developed a quick mouth. It's really comfortable to eat. It's indeed the best food in the universe. It's a pity that there are so few of them. Whis wiped his mouth, looking like he still had something to say. Seeing this, Dongwoo felt happy, knowing that he was already halfway successful. As long as you make more and different delicacies, don't worry about Whis not taking the bait. Whis Angel, I have a lot of delicious food here. I promise not to bring the same thing every day. As soon as Dongwoo finished speaking, he saw Whis coming to Dongwoo like a gust of wind. You mean it's really cold? It's time to subscribe, friends. Chapter 101. Whis is a guy who can sell Beerus just for food. I heard Dongwoo say that you can eat such delicacies every day, how can you resist? Whis covered his mouth, his handsome sky blue face turned into a chrysanthemum shape with a smile, and his originally big eyes were all gone from the smile. Of course Whis, I won't lie. Dongwoo promised with his chest raised. In order to let Whis teach him, Dongwoo also worked hard. He practices the Dragon Elephant Prajna Kung Fu, which allows his body to continuously evolve and his combat effectiveness to continue to improve. But there is nothing he can do about the realm of God and the power of God. Whis, it's impossible for someone who can teach gods of destruction not to be able to teach himself. Oh, that's so lucky. If you have any requests, just tell me and I'll see if I can help you. Whis is not a child. As the master of gods of destruction, Angel has existed since the beginning of the universe. His intelligence is definitely not low, and he immediately thought of Dongwu who wanted something from him. However, he didn't really care. Anyway, as long as there is delicious food. That's it, Whis, I want you to guide me in my practice. Dongwu said simply. He knew he couldn't hide it from Whis, and he never thought about hiding it from him. If he wanted Whis to guide him, it would be better to hide it and be upright. Coupled with the temptation of delicious food, he believed that Whis would not refuse. Sure enough, Dongwu's guess was right. Oh haha, 430. So that's what happened. Simple, if you make more delicious food, I will guide you. Remember, things are different, and there are risks. Whis agreed without even thinking about it. In fact, he was also surprised, because it was only then that he carefully observed Dongwu and found that he had actually condensed his divine body and given birth to divine power. As a mortal who could condense a divine body and give birth to divine power, he had never encountered this in his long life. He is also curious about how far Dongwu can go. So Whis, you agree. At this time, the little lowly Toki no Supreme Kai jumped up and said next to her, with an innocent smile on her little face. Yes, Supreme Kai-sama of time. Although Whis is the master of gods of destruction, he is also a servant. Although extremely powerful, in terms of position, he is not as good as Supreme Kai and gods of destruction. It's just that because of their strong strength, these gods usually don't care about Whis' attitude. And from their conversation, we can also know that Whis does have a good relationship with Supreme Kai of time. This half-joking honorific is purely for fun. That's good. Kaiyan nodded and smiled happily, and then said to Dongwu with a proud look, "Look, I said I can help you find the master." How could Dongwu not see her little thoughts? CGAJ, this is something to praise. Dongwu didn't hesitate to praise him even after he put it down. Anyway, he was obedient and didn't spend any money. Although Dongwu has never flattered, he is not very good at flattering. But I still say nice things. That's right, who doesn't know that the Supreme Kai of time is the most popular? And he is the most beautiful and adorable god. And the Supreme Kai of time never brags, saying 1 is 1 and 2 is 2. The old-fashioned compliment immediately made Kai Yin's face smile so much that he couldn't even find his eyes. He nodded repeatedly, expressing his agreement with Dongwu's words. Whis next to me kept laughing. This 75-million-year-old little loli is really thick-skinned. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But now that the matter is settled, I'm going back to the nest of time. I'll come back when I have time. Little loli Kane walked lightly, waved goodbye to Dongwu and Whis, and then disappeared directly. Oh wow, I never thought that Saiyan like you can praise people and cook delicious food. I have never met such an interesting Saiyan like you. Whis' words made Dongwu blush. Red. I'll prepare the food. Dongwu left a word and ran away. Afterwards, Dongwu served the dishes together with the pots and pans, making a table full of dishes. There are Sichuan, Huizhou, Shandong and Cantonese cuisines. Don't worry about this, just think that the protagonist is versatile, making Whis' mouth watering. It's really comfortable. As expected, let me give you some guidance. Whis wiped his mouth gracefully after finishing the meal, then stood up slowly and said, I see that you have condensed your divine body and given birth to divine power. You must be troubled by the realm of God and cannot understand it. Whis is indeed the angel who guides gods of destruction. He can see the crux of the problem at a glance. Yes Whis, I have been comprehending the realm of God for 3 years, that is, getting rich without gaining anything. Wu Ku said. 3 years, you want to understand the realm of God in 3 years? That's too simple. Do you know how long it took Master Beerus? Under my guidance, it took another 1,000,000 years. Whis despised Dongwu's way. How can the realm of gods be so easy? Question mark quote. Dongwu was dumbfounded because he didn't know if he could live 1,000,000 years. Although the dragon elephant Prajna Kung Fu extended his lifespan, he also condensed his divine body and divine power. But after all, he is not a god now, so who knows how long his lifespan will be. Oh ho ho ho. Don't be discouraged, maybe you will understand it in 500,000 years. Whis said with a joking smile, this kind of rustic behavior is really pleasing to the eye. Dongwu's head drooped like an eggplant beaten by frost, and his whole body was in bad shape. 500,000 years seems to be half the difference from 1,000,000 years, but is the difference big to him? No matter what, I will train you to enhance your combat effectiveness, use divine power and understand the realm of God. It depends on you how far you can go. Whis said, also suppressing his smile, and said seriously. Quote! Dongwu also thought about it. As long as he works hard, he will have no regrets. So no matter what the final result is, at least you have a clear conscience. I'll teach you how to understand the realm of God first. Just look at me. Whis said. Dongwu found that Whis disappeared from his perception and had no breath at all. It was the same situation as Layla. But Dongwu still discovered the difference. He seemed to be integrated into everything in the universe, and he seemed to have jumped out of the rules of everything. A mountain is still a mountain when you look at it. It is not a mountain when you look at it. It is still a mountain when you look at it. Returning to nature, all things are reflected in him, but all things are not him. Bobo. Dongwu was stunned for a moment, because this was the same as what Bobo once taught him. But of course he didn't understand it so deeply, he only understood the realm of the unity of heaven and man. But he couldn't jump out. At the same time, Dongwu thought that in the original work, Bobo once trained two little guys, Godin and Trunks. At that time, the two little guys had already transformed into Super Saiyan, but naturally they could not take advantage of Bobo. What's Bobo's identity? It's so well hidden. At this moment Dongwu confirmed that Bobo was definitely at the level of Universe God. That is to say, the level of Supreme Kai is definitely higher than Kaio. Because Bobo's realm is actually the realm of God. Moreover, Bobo can create a spiritual time house, a real time machine. In the original work, Son Goku was sent to 300 years ago to ask Master Wu for advice. And it is the real past time, not parallel time and space. Is this what a planetary god attendant can do? Integrate into nature, and then jump out of nature. Is this the realm of God? Dongwu murmured to himself, becoming even more curious about Bobo. Oh, I didn't expect that your ability to comprehend is so strong. You immediately understood the key to the realm of God. Whis was surprised when he heard Dongwu's muttering. In fact, this is related to Dongwu's previous life experience. As a Taoist priest, although he has not cultivated anything, he knows a lot about realm theory. That's why we can see the state of Whis at once, and Bobo quickly understands it when he teaches. Dongwu has understood the key to the realm of gods, but it will take some time to comprehend. In the past, it was like a blind man touching an elephant, not knowing what was in front of him or how to proceed. Although there are still many difficulties now, he now has a clear direction and knows where to work hard. Dongwu feels that his road may not be far away. He originally thought that artistic conception was worthless in the Dragon Ball world, but now he realized how rare artistic conception is. In the past, Martial Saint Fengyi could understand the artistic conception, because his martial arts cultivation level, not equal to combat power, was high, and the level of the artistic conception he understood was also low. Apart from him, Dongwu only felt the artistic conception in a few Earth martial arts masters. In the Dragon Ball world without realm theory, it is still difficult to understand the artistic conception. Whether it's Feng Yi, Bobo, or even Whis, when he teaches the artistic realm, he displays it himself for people to observe and understand. There has never been any explanation in language, that is, no real theory has been formed. Once you understand it, you understand it. If you don't understand it, they can't explain it in detail. This is also an advantage of Dongwu. He has a complete set of realm theories in his mind. Although it is not necessarily correct, it is not necessarily suitable for the Dragon Ball world. But there is always a series of masterpieces. Whis, I understand the artistic conception you want to express, but I don't have a specific idea of how to achieve it. Although Dongwu said so, he had already seen the road sign. As long as you find this road, you can follow the signs. It's rare to meet someone with such a strong understanding. Next, I will train you. Including combat ability, realm understanding and the use of divine power. Whis said in surprise. At this time, he had a feeling that Dongwu was the gods of destruction. The idea of cultivation. Thank you, Whis. Dongwu sincerely expressed his gratitude. I feel that Whis is really a generous and kind person. Don't be too happy first. It depends on you when you can realize it. But the time should not be too short. The most important thing is that we are going to the gods of destruction world, and I can't leave for too long. Whis said. As a servant of gods of destruction, he cannot leave gods of destruction for too long. It doesn't matter if Beerus is sleeping now. If gods of destruction wakes up and wants to go to the lower world, they can't go there without Angel. Because gods of destruction doesn't have instant transmission, nor does Angel's universe speed. This is probably also a balance between gods of destruction and Supreme Kai, because both Supreme Kai can use instant transmission. In this case, then Whis, please wait for me for a moment, and I will explain to my family. Dongwu found his family and explained the situation to them. The whole family was quite supportive, but Tongla insisted on going along. And there are two little guys, Gil and Gino. These two little guys are 10 years old, and they are extremely clingy. Especially for Jill, a daughter who cannot see her father. When she does, she will look like a koala and hang on to her father. They were clamoring to go together, and Dongwu also had a headache. The world of gods of destruction is not somewhere else, and gods of destruction is not Supreme Kai. He doesn't have a very good temper. If something unexpected happens, Dongwu won't be able to find a place to cry. Although he wants to beat Beerus, he knows that he can't beat Beerus now. Don't make trouble, follow mom number 18. When I come back, if I find that you are not good, disobedient, and do not practice well, all of you will get a swollen butt. Dongwu said to scare the two little guys. But the two little guys were spoiled and not afraid of him at all. In the end, Dongla, a crazy girl, came forward, grabbed his ears, and beat each of them to make him honest. This girl is really tough, sometimes it makes Dongwu feel bad to see her. Because number 18 is an artificial human, his strength has been fixed and there is no way to increase his strength through practice. So he chose to take care of the children at home, and finally Whis took Dongwu and Dongla to the gods of destruction world. Well, I also brought Dongwu's pots and pans. Whis' speed was very fast, and he returned to the world of gods of destruction in just a few minutes. Dongla shouted in surprise, making Dongwu cover his face and feel helpless. Whis didn't react at all. The world of gods of destruction is located on the other side of the universe, the supreme interface, and corresponds to the world of Supreme Kai. A diamond-shaped planet with many small planets around it. Here we are, here is the world of gods of destruction. Whis brought Dongwu and Dongla to the world of gods of destruction, and couldn't wait to let Bai Wu cook. There was no other way, so Dongwu had no choice but to act as a cook again. After a busy day, a delicious meal was presented in front of Whis. Dongwu's cooking is really delicious. I have never eaten anything so delicious. Whis enjoys tasting and praising at the same time. But soon, after finishing his meal, Whis began to formally guide Dongwu. In order to understand the realm of God, you must first know what God is. Do you know? Whis asked. What is God? Dongwu has also thought about this question. At first, he thought he was a more advanced person with powers and advanced bodies that mortals never had. But when he condensed the divine body and found that it was not a god yet, he knew that he had guessed wrong. What is God? Dongwu is not very clear now. Dongwu shook his head and said he didn't know. You have seen the realm of God, but you have not yet understood the essence of God. The realm is the external manifestation of the essence, and the essence is the fundamental cause of the realm. If you cannot understand the essence of God, you will not become a true God even if you understand the realm. Whis spoke slowly and calmly, but Dongwu was enlightened. Point 0. Then what is the nature of God? Dongwu asked quickly. Whis glanced at Dongwu with a half smile, knowing that Dongwu was a little embarrassed before continuing. The essence of God is detachment. He is detached from mortals and the universe. That's why he can be called God. Maybe God is not very powerful, but he is definitely not within the constraints of the universe. Whis is right, Supreme Kai is not very powerful. However, the rules of the universe cannot affect him. It truly transcends the three realms and is no longer within the 5 elements. I understand. What I have to do is to blend in first, and then get out. Dongwu nodded to express his understanding. There are descriptions of these theories in the Taoist theories of previous lives. Although it describes immortals there, the Dragon Ball world talks about gods. But different paths lead to the same goal. Although some are not the same, they can be used for reference. There may not be immortals on Earth, but the theory is very high. You are right, let's start now. First I will train your combat ability and the use of divine power. Finally, I will give you guidance on the realm of gods. Whis said, waving his staff. Dongwu suddenly felt like he was in serious trouble, and his whole body flew out. He didn't even see how Whis took action. Hiss, so strong, not on the same level at all. Whis was so powerful that Dongwu didn't even have a chance to react. Dongwu knows that there is a big gap between himself and Whis, so he is not discouraged. Get up and continue fighting Whis. Of course, it can't be counted as a battle, it can only be called a one-sided beating. Dongwu got up again and again, but was knocked down again and again. In fact, the purpose of getting up is to fall down again, without even a chance to take action, let alone fight back. However, Whis' shots were very measured, and he was knocked down but not injured. Even if his nose was bruised and his face was swollen, it was just a skin injury. Finally, after a whole morning of abuse, Dongwu was knocked down countless times. With his teeth bared, Whis announced the end of training. However, the same thing happened again after one meal. And it didn't get any better. Whis simply pointed where to hit, telling Dongwu where to hit, but Dongwu had nothing to do. Dongla also became interested and joined the practice. But after being casually subdued by Wei Si, he stopped following him and ran to the side to practice on his own. In this way, half a year passed quickly. Dongwu's combat power increased linearly, and his normal combat power increased to 100 trillion. And it is still growing rapidly. You must know that after defeating Jaiko, Dongwu's combat power increased from 50 billion to 1 trillion in 3 years. The 20-fold increase is already terrifying. This is due to the fact that he completely broke through the limits of Saiyan and Super Saiyan and condensed the divine body. However, in the second half of Whis training, it increased from 1 trillion to 100 trillion. 100-fold increase, this is the benefit of having a good teacher and opponent. At this rate, in about half a year, you will almost be able to practice in the realm of gods. Whis beat Dongwu again, ate the food elegantly, and praised Dongwu. In Dragon Ball Super, Son Goku used the energy of 6 Saiyans to forcibly condense the alien body of the Super Saiyan God. After that, the combat effectiveness increased linearly and he developed his own Super God Realm Super Chip Blue. Super Saiyan Blue is different from the Super Saiyan God Dongwu saw in the Saiyan Temple in the Shirata Extremity Realm. The Super Saiyan God in the Saiyan Temple is not only different in form from Super Saiyan Blue, but he does not have to transform to become a Super Saiyan God. His form is fixed as Super Sailor God. Super Saiyan God is the normal state, and normal state is Super Saiyan God. However, regardless of whether Son Goku is a true Super Sailor God, he has gone his own way. Although he is different from the Super Saiyan God of Sarada's Ultimate Saiyan Temple, it cannot be said that he is definitely wrong. Maybe it's different for everyone. But whether it's Son Goku's Super Saiyan Blue or Temple's Super Saiyan God, Dongwu is confident that he is definitely not weaker than them in terms of divine body. It will only get stronger. It is also because of this that Dongwu's strength can grow so quickly. Whis, what is Lord Beerus's combat strength approximately? He only knew that Beerus was very strong, but he had no idea how strong it was, and he didn't know the specific value. He also wants to beat Beerus in the future, so it's best to know the root cause. Sir Beerus, the combat power is about 10 Gai. Dragon Ball Super setting Golden Frieza's combat power is about 100 Gai, so it is estimated that Beerus should be between 150 Gai and 200 Gai. But in this way, it is super the combat power of Saiyan and Super Sailor God is too difficult to explain. So Beerus's combat power intensity is 10, so use 10 Gai. Whis yawned out of boredom and said nonchalantly. But Dongwu almost fell down from fear, it was too scary. What is the concept of 10 Gai? 1 Gai equals 10,000 Jing, 1 Jing equals 10,000 trillion, 1 trillion equals 1,000 billion. With Dongwu's current normal combat power of 100 trillion, plus the 800-fold increase in the second transformation of secret race, it is just 8 Jing's fighting power. In other words, Beerus is almost 10,000 times stronger than his second transformation. There is a long way to go. This is Dongwu's heartfelt emotion, and it feels incredible at the same time. He watched the beginning of the Dragon Ball Super League. At that time, Son Goku had only Super League 3. No matter how hard Son Goku practices, he will break through his physical limit one more time. Dongwu thinks that its normal combat power is only 1000 gigabit at most. Coupled with the 400-fold increase in Super Series 3, it is only about 40 yuan. How is it possible that he could transform into a Super Saiyan God and grow more than 2000 times on the basis of Super 3? Is this a joke? However, he couldn't guess the specific details. After all, he has never seen it, and the official did not give much data or explanation. He can only take one step at a time. Moreover, Dongla, who is now the second level, has a normal combat power of 10 trillion. Maybe the Super Saiyan God has grown so much, or his normal combat power can be very high. Continue to practice. Knowing that he still had a big gap, Dongwu was full of fighting spirit and practiced more actively. Not only that, he also practiced Dragon Elephant Prajna Kung Fu by himself when he stopped. However, after the 10th level of Dragon Elephant Prajna Kung Fu, it is too difficult to practice. Dongwu has not relaxed his practice in recent years, but the results are not very satisfactory. It should be said that it is very slow. Compared with before, it is like a snail. Although it is slow, it is better than nothing. Whis teaches Dongwu during the day and plays sparring with Dongwu. In the evening, Dongwu practiced Dragon Elephant Prajna Kung by himself, and soon another half-year passed. It has been a full year since Dongwu came to the world of gods of destruction. Recall the experiences and gains of this year. While Dongwu was filled with emotion, he couldn't help feeling sad. The first half of the year was fine, but the second half was absolutely devastating. Not to mention the bruises and swollen face, I am not getting better. I have broken my arms and legs countless times. Basically, I have broken my arms and legs at least once a day. Otherwise, the fairy beans would have been scrapped long ago. But the gains are also huge. First of all, the combat effectiveness has once again increased by leaps and bounds. It has reached a terrifying 1000 trillion. Secondly, he has been able to initially use divine power. His combat power and aura have become more obscure, and his strength has become more tenacious. Today's Dongwu, if he transforms into Secret Race 2, would already have 80 capitals. He is still 10 miles away from Beerus, which is still more than 1000 times. You can't do the calculation. The more troublesome it will be. It's still more than 1000 times worse. Dongwu smiled bitterly. He didn't know how many times the Super Saiyan God increased. But it is impossible to increase the number by thousands of times on the basis of Super League 2. Even 100 times, it's still a little difficult. But it's not without good news. The good news is that Whis told him that he can realize the realm of God. Finally. You don't have to be beaten anymore. Dongwu almost burst into tears. After being beaten for a year, the sadness was really unpleasant. However, all that is left now is excitement and happiness. As the saying goes, only by enduring hardship can one become a master. More than a year of suffering has not only increased his strength to an incredible level. Moreover, I am finally qualified to practice and comprehend the realm of God. When Dongwu heard the news, he almost burst into tears. It's been a year. How did you get through this year? I got beaten all day long and had my arms and legs broken. Coming to the world of Dragon Ball with you, he has never been so hardworking. Finally, after a year of being beaten, are you qualified to practice realm cultivation? It's about to start, are you ready? Whis said with a smile. Dongwu nodded quickly without any hesitation. He has been waiting for this moment for too long. Then let's get started, Whis said, lowering the staff in his hand to the ground. Then I saw Whis' staff starting to glow. The crystal ball on the staff emitted wisps of dark green light. You can enter now. One day in the outside world is 10 years in my staff. Go in and understand. Whis smiled softly, and the dark green light shone towards Dongwu. Then Dongwu felt as if his body was being pulled by something, and he flew towards the staff crystal involuntarily. Knowing that Whis was letting him enter the staff space, Dongwu did not struggle and followed the pull to enter the staff space. Shua. Dongwu broke away from the dark green light, and what he saw was a void of space. The air inside is extremely thin and the temperature changes rapidly from high to low. Kufi with the spiritual time of the earth. Picture. Dongwu, the environment here is very harsh. But you not only have to adapt to this environment, you also have to experience this environment and integrate into it. Whis' voice came, and Dongwu nodded solemnly. In this extreme environment, on the one hand, it is difficult to concentrate, on the other hand, because of the many changes, it is very difficult to integrate into it. Because of this, it can play a great role in training him. Dongwu did not flinch, and quickly entered a state of trance, experiencing and comprehending everything here. However, Dongwu has long been able to integrate into nature, and he was already able to do it when Bobo taught him. So Dongwu quickly blended in, but the next moment he broke out of it. The reason is that the environment changes too fast. Just after integrating into one environment, the outside world changes into another environment. Without enough time to adapt, people will fall out of the state of harmony between man and nature. Sometimes the air suddenly disappears, sometimes it suddenly increases violently. Sometimes the temperature is normal, and sometimes it is suddenly extremely cold or extremely hot. There are even times when the birds are singing and the flowers are fragrant, and sometimes there are mountains of swords, seas of fire, or thousands of miles of ice. And many times there will be only one kind of substance left in the entire space. For example, there are only fire, only water, only light, only darkness and other extreme situations left between heaven and earth. Sometimes the fire burns his buttocks, and the next moment it turns into endless darkness, making Dongwu miserable. However, the benefits are obvious. Gradually, Dongwu's adaptability became stronger and stronger, and he was even able to keep up with the changes in the environment occasionally. Integrate into the new environment in a timely manner. As time goes by, Dongwu grows faster and faster. From occasionally following up, you can gradually follow up in small amounts. I finally got used to it completely. I don't know how long it took Dongwu. Maybe 100 years, maybe 200 years. Dongwu doesn't remember. Anyway, he will not feel hungry since he has condensed his spiritual body, and there is no concept of time and space. The moment Dongwu fully adapted, the gravity of the space suddenly strengthened. The gravity from the original gods of destruction world instantly increased 100 times. Dongwu, who had just adapted, was shaken out of the state of harmony between man and nature. Abnormal. The gravity of the gods of destruction world is the same as that of the Supreme Kai world, which is already very large. At this moment, it increased 100 times, and Dongwu felt a little stressed. However, it has no impact on him now. In this way, Dongwu entered the cultivation state again. Time flows slowly, Dongwu unconsciously. But the earth outside is in crisis again. What? You said another one appeared. Dongla, who was practicing in the world of gods of destruction, suddenly jumped up and asked in surprise when he heard the news from Whis. Not bad, and it's stronger than the original cell, Whis said with a smile. Although this cell is strong, there is no difference in Whis' eyes. Even if it were 100 times stronger, it would still be a little ant that could be easily crushed to death. However, for the Earth today, it is a terrible disaster. How is this possible? Cell has been killed by my elder brother, and all the diagrams and equations have been destroyed by me. How is it possible that another cell appears? Dong Leek remembered clearly that 11 years ago Dongwu asked her to find Dr. Gallo's research institute, where she found the design drawings and design equations of cell. But cell had already escaped at that time, and she failed to find the cell larva, so she could only destroy all the data in the entire laboratory. The cell that appeared later was indeed very strong, even Dongwu had to waste some effort to eliminate it. But what if another cell appears? Dongla geared up and said that the last time Cell was killed by Dongwu, she had no chance to take action. This time, she decided to eliminate him herself. Dongla is no longer what she used to be, and her strength has made great progress. Even if this Cell is stronger than the one Dongwu killed, so what if it is 10 times or 100 times stronger? Over the past year, Dong Li's normal combat effectiveness has also improved rapidly under the occasional guidance from Dongwu and Whis. It grew to 10 trillion in the first half of the year and to 20 trillion in the second half of the year. Coupled with the 100-fold increase from Super Cell 2, even if Cell's 400 billion combat power is 100 times stronger, it is still a waste. Oh, this Cell seems to be different. Whis waved his staff lightly, and the scene of the Earth was displayed on the crystal ball. At this time, Son Goku and Vegeta are fighting Cell. Son Goku has transformed into Super Saiyan 3, and Vegeta has also transformed into Super Saiyan 2. But in the hands of this special Cell, the two of them had little chance to fight back. If this Cell hadn't wanted to kill them, they would have been two corpses at this moment. You must know that 4 years ago, Son Goku's combat power in Super Saiyan 3 was about 600 billion. Now 4 years have passed, although Son Goku's combat power has not increased as rapidly as the two of them. But in the Super Shanxin state, it already has a combat power of 5,000 megabytes. Vegeta has not undergone the third Super Saiyan transformation, but due to his qualifications, his basic combat power is higher than that of Son Goku. The transformation into Super Saiyan 2 also has a strength of 30 trillion. The two of them were under Cell's hands, unable to resist. This Cell seems a little different. Although Dongla was surprised by Cell's current combat power, he didn't take it to heart. Because even if the Cell has 100 megabytes, it doesn't matter if it's 200 megabytes. If she transforms into Super Saiyan 2, she will have 2 gigabytes. What puzzled her was that Cell had some pink spots on his body. You need to know the original Cell, but there is no such thing. What the hell is going on? Whis, do you know? Dongla asked with a frown. Cell was killed by Dongwu, Dr. Gallo also died, and even the design drawings and equations were destroyed. Logically speaking, it should be impossible for Cell to appear again. But now Cell has appeared, and it is even more powerful. There have even been slight changes in form, which is totally unreasonable. Whis smiled and said, I'll send you to Earth first, and I'll tell you on the way. Whis is not an ordinary person or god, he is Angel, the most powerful person in this universe. Although Cell is very strong, it doesn't matter to him at all. And no matter how much trouble Cell makes, it's just a small fuss. If it goes too far, he'll wake up Beerus directly. What can Cell do with Beerus's strength? With a tap of the Whis staff, a colorful square appeared outside the two of them, surrounding them. After that, it set off towards the Earth at a speed that exceeded light and time. It takes about 5 or 6 minutes to get to Earth. Let me tell you about this Cell. Whis said easily. This Cell is based on the original Cell, with some genes removed and Majin Buu's genes added. Its strength has increased greatly, and it has an almost immortal physique like Majin Buu. It is also a good training target. Whis he chuckled. Indeed, in Whis' opinion, Cell was used to train Dongla. Not even an opponent. 2 gigabytes should not have any pressure against this Cell. It's just that this Cell's immortal physique is more difficult to deal with. Where did this Cell come from? It can't appear out of thin air, right? Dongla is more concerned about this, but she is not too worried about Cell. After all, judging from his battles with Son Goku and Vegeta, Cell's combat power is at best stronger than the two. This Cell was made by a very interesting little beauty. On the basis of Cell, Majin Buu's genes were added, and it should be called Buu Cell. But speaking of it, it's really good. Oh hoo hoo hoo. Whis still had that arrogant attitude and expression that made Dongla want to punch him on his handsome face. This guy just likes to tell half-truths. Who made it? I've already destroyed Cell's drawings and equations. How can I make it again? Dongla bit a pair of small tiger teeth, wishing to strangle this angel to death. What about this? Her name seems to be Tawa, and she is Dapora's sister. She is very beautiful, and she seems to know Dongwu. Whis gloated. However, if Dongwu knew what Whis said, his handsome face would definitely be smashed into pieces. Isn't it a big deal to watch the excitement? This tells Dongla that he can still end up in a good situation. Sure enough, Dongla immediately started grinding his teeth as soon as he heard a pair of small tiger teeth. Obviously, Wu will look good in the future. But that's not right. Even if she knew my elder brother, without the blueprints and design plans, she wouldn't be able to recreate Cell. Let's not think about Dongwu's matter for the time being. Dongla frowned his delicate eyebrows with a heroic aura and said irritably and incomprehensibly. Oh, this. Because Tova has the ability to travel through time. She traveled to before you destroyed the drawings, and collected the genes of Cell and Majin Buu to recultivate a new Buu cell. This is not easy. Apart from Supreme Kai of Time, she is the second person who can travel through time without borrowing props. Whis still had an indifferent expression and tone. His powerful strength made him not care about Tao at all. Although Whis cannot travel through time and space, he is invincible no matter what time period he is in. Even if Tova travels through time and space, she cannot pose a threat to him. How could there be such a history? Dongla felt that things were in trouble. If Tova traveled through time, there was nothing she could do. Unable to break through the time barrier, it is almost impossible for anyone to threaten Taoa. Don't worry, although she can travel through time, Kane can block her time stream in the nest of time. What really needs to be worried about is that Taoa seems to be interested in Dongwu. Oh. Whis really doesn't want to cheat Dongwu, and he won't give up. Dongwu, just wait for me. Sure enough, Dongla was no longer just grinding his teeth. Now he wanted to strangle Dongwu to death and hit Dongwu's lower body with a knife. When he got married, he was warned not to mess with women again. Now another Taoa appears. Don't worry, don't worry. He's in my scepter now and can't escape. Whis said happily. This guy is also a CGFI, shady angel, and he actually tried to trick Dongwu. And Dongwu, who was in the Whis scepter, was comprehending under strong gravity when he suddenly sneezed and withdrew from the state of unity between heaven and man. What's going on? With my current divine body, can I still catch a cold? Dongwu shook his head, not knowing the reason, and then entered the state of enlightenment again. Little did he know that his unlucky day was coming soon. Soon, Dongla and Whis arrived on Earth. At this time, Son Goku and Vegeta had completely lost their fighting power. In the hands of this Buu cell, both of them are no match for each other. Vegeta, let's unite. Son Goku slammed the ground and said to Vegeta, who was also lying down. This cell is too strong, he is no match at all. Except when facing Dongwu, he had never been so powerless. What did you say? I will never do those embarrassing moves with you. Vegeta was furious. Son Goku went to Kaio 2 years ago, and then learned the fusion technique from nowhere, which can make two people merge and their strength will be greatly improved. However, the combined action is too embarrassing. As a proud Saiyan prince, how could he do that? But, this cell is too strong. Son Goku tried to persuade him again, but was stopped by Vegeta. Stop talking, I will never agree to it. Vegeta was very determined. You have to think about Zangia and little Vegeta. If they can't defeat this guy, they may die. Son Goku said anxiously. This time, Vegeta's weak point was caught, and Vegeta hesitated. It's strange to say that Vegeta used to be very indifferent, and he regarded human life as no more than a bed bug. But since having his wife Zangia and son Vegeta, Vegeta has become a completely different person. Not only is he very family-oriented, but he also cares about his family very much. Although he doesn't care much about children, he is very precious to his son. Okay, but it's just this time, not next time. Vegeta gritted his teeth and reluctantly agreed. Okay, when the Metama people taught me this skill, this is my first time to use it. Let's see its power. Son Goku jumped up and said excitedly. Looking at Dongwu, who was fully resurrected, Vegeta's forehead was covered with black lines. I really don't know what's so exciting about such a disgusting and embarrassing posture. Although Vegeta is arrogant and indifferent, he is indeed a great man for his family and family. I would rather die than do the action, just because of Zangia and little Vegeta. He actually agreed. The two people had just raised their hands in a starting position, but before they could proceed with the next action, they were stopped by a loud shout. Get out of my way and give him to me. Dong Li's figure walked out of Whis' colorful cube, and his resentful voice made Son Goku and Vegeta shudder. They had heard too many words in this tone. Vegeta and Son Goku looked at each other and nodded together. They all saw something in each other's eyes. Angry women are not easy to deal with. Especially this woman is a hot-tempered Saiyan, a powerful and hot-tempered female Saiyan. Yeah, the two men nodded and retreated decisively, leaving the battlefield to Dongla. Especially Vegeta, he retreated even more decisively and stayed far away. He didn't want to make that embarrassing move with Son Goku fusion in the first place. Now that Dongla has taken over, he is relieved. Monster, listen to me and tell me where Tova is, otherwise I will blow you into ashes. Dongla is now full of resentment towards Dongwu, and even more angry towards Taoa. This woman she has never met is actually trying to take advantage of her man. Can this be tolerated? Oh, I have your information in my profile. You are Dongla, Dongwu's wife. Taoa won't let me hurt you, but you can't call me a monster. I'm not a monster. Bu Sel looked at Dongla, then frowned and said as if he was not happy. According to his information, Dongla is very strong. But this is not the main thing. No matter how strong Dongla is, he is not afraid. The main Tova gave him an order not to allow him to harm Dong Lel. What? You said Taoa wouldn't let you hurt me. How dare you look down on me? Dongla was fine at first, but when he heard it, he became furious. Isn't this looking down on myself? Just because of this cell, you want to hurt me? Dongla was instantly furious. Monster, let me beat you up first and let you know how high the sky is and how high it is. Dongla instantly transformed into Super Saiyan 2, with golden hair soaring into the sky, and powerful power surrounding golden lightning. It can be seen that she has pushed her fighting power to the extreme. Originally, Dongla had already reached the full power of Super 2, and because she had strengthened her control by practicing martial arts, when she transformed into Super 2, she would no longer have this kind of lightning surrounding her due to the leakage of her power. But in the past year, her normal combat effectiveness has improved too quickly, while her martial arts progress has been relatively slow. In addition, because of his anger, he used all his energy to activate his energy, so this kind of lightning appeared again that he only had when he transformed into Super 2. Drink. Dongwu launched an attack directly, and his speed made both Vegeta and Son Goku unable to see the movement at all. Even Cell on the opposite side was shocked because he couldn't see clearly. It has to be said that Dongli's current strength has surpassed Son Goku and Vegeta by a lot. With the regular guidance and sparring of Dongwu and Whis, Dongla is completely different. Boom! The golden arrogance, accompanied by bright lightning, struck Bu Cell in a flash. Axe! Cell was hit without even reacting. His eyes instantly bulged and his entire body was penetrated. Even if the body penetrated, Cell opened his mouth and spurted out a mouthful of emerald green blood due to the huge impact. Dongla did not stop attacking. He raised his leg and kicked Bu Cell away. Because she already knows that this Cell has Majin Buu's genes. Such damage would be fatal to others, but it would be nothing to Cell Bu. Beat up Bu Cell. Le continued to follow. Bang bang bang. Bu Cell was like a broken sack, being attacked continuously by Dongla without any chance to fight back. Finally, Dong Li's anger dissipated, and Bu Cell was tortured until he was reduced to a human form. Only then did Dongla stop. Tell me, where is Taoa? Otherwise I will keep beating you like this until you tell where Taoa is. Dongla asked through gritted teeth. Although she was relieved, the incident did not just go away. Women, no matter what kind of women they are quite vindictive. Taoa has an idea for Dongwu, which she will never allow. However, since she ordered Bu Cell not to hurt her, the best he can do is not hit her. But it is still necessary to warn her that she is not allowed to have Dongwu's ideas. Otherwise, all kinds of women would come to try to get Dongwu's idea, but Yuzi wouldn't be able to live with him. Can he live at home? Even if you kill me, I won't tell you. Bu Cell said in pain. Bu Cell is still quite tough and loyal. Even if he was beaten like this by Dongla and faced the danger of being killed, he still wouldn't reveal the news about Taoa. Hey, you're quite loyal. Then I'll see how long you can last. Dongla said and was about to take action. Oh, you don't have to hit him. I'm here. Avertisement. Just when Dongla took action again, Taoa's voice came over. Then he saw a beautiful girl with sky blue skin. Although she was not young, her appearance was still that of a beautiful girl. Tien appeared next to Bu Shishui. The girl has a delicate and beautiful face, a hot and slender figure, and her tight-fitting clothes set off her figure to the fullest. Coupled with the hint of heroism brought by the cape, Taoa looks very charming. Master, I'm sorry, I can't beat her. Seeing Taoa coming, Bu Cell came over and said with a pained face. Although he has Bu's genes, his recovery ability is much worse. I haven't fully recovered yet. It doesn't matter, you've done your best. Tawa smiled slightly and released a white magic at Busel to speed up Busel's recovery. Master, please leave quickly, this woman is very strong. She will kill you, Busel urged urgently, not even caring about his own injuries. It's okay, just take a look at it with peace of mind. After Tawa finished speaking, she turned to look at Dongla, who was very calm. Tisk tisk, she's pretty tall, she's pretty. What's even more rare is to have such a loyal subordinate, not bad. Tawa didn't move, but Dongla circled around Tawa, looking at her and commenting. Tawa was fine, but Busel came to Tawa nervously. Tawa waved her hand, signaling Busel not to worry. Then he spoke slowly. Dongla, why did you come out to me? You don't just want to see me, do you? Over the past 10 years, Tawa is no longer the simple demon princess. The sudden changes in her family and what she saw and heard on Earth made her mature quickly. From the tone in which Dongla asked her to come out, she knew that Dongla must be dissatisfied with her. However, she still came out. Tawa's strength is not weak, but it is not that strong either. If she hides in the river of time, Dongla can't do anything to her. But when she faced Dongla face to face, it was obvious that she had no chance of winning. However, she still came out. On the one hand, I don't want to see Busel being wiped out, but on the other hand, I have to face it sooner or later. Not very good. I just wanted to see what the man who beat me was thinking about. What kind of person he is. Dongla raised his head and looked at Tawa with a scrutinizing gaze. Attacking him. You are overthinking. He killed my brother Dapora, and I wanted to avenge him. But now it seems that my strength is not enough. Tawa's face was flustered for a while, but she immediately pretended to be calm. But what she said was right. She did create this model based on Cell in order to take revenge on Dongwu. She deleted some genes and added the Majin Buu gene. Yes, the new android, Busel. However, she hesitated at the last minute. So she appeared on Earth with Busel and did not destroy it. She just wanted to defeat 26 Earth warriors. Lure Dongwu out, then defeat Dongwu. But she didn't think about what to do after the defeat. Even Dongla, number 18 and others were ordered by her not to harm Busel. So that's it. Originally I wanted to kill you directly, but now I don't want to kill you. Whether you are seeking revenge or trying to take advantage of my man, you can't afford to make any trouble anyway. Dongla Weiwei said. He smiled and said very contemptuously. With Tao's strength, there is no threat at all. The only threats are the artificial humans she created. However, even if it is the Busel she created, what is its use? However, I still have to teach you a lesson. And I have to keep a close eye on you to prevent you from causing trouble in other time and space. Dongla said, and said to Whis, can you contact the Supreme Kai of Time? Oh ho ho, of course. Whis said, contacting Kane with the staff. Whis, why are you contacting me? I'm sealing Demon God Demi-Cooler. I'm very busy. I don't know what's going on, but he's been struggling and making trouble recently. In the crystal ball of the Whis staff, Kane's cute little face appeared. Then he said with an unhappy face. Oh, there's another thing. It seems that Demi-Cooler is unwilling to be trapped. But with your seal, he shouldn't be able to get out. Whis frowned and then relaxed. He knows about Demon God Demi-Cooler, but sometimes Supreme Kai's seal cannot be broken with his strength. Kane, put Demi-Cooler's matter aside for now. Now there is a time controller on the Earth. You can bring her back to the nest of time later to prevent the universe's time from being changed. Tampering with the time and history of the universe will have extremely huge consequences. The lighter one will produce a fragmented universe, and the more serious one will give birth to a parallel universe space. Okay, I'll be there right away. Kane's face was solemn as never before. The impact of tampering with time and history was too great. Kane couldn't help but ignore this. To be honest, Demon God Demi-Cooler was sealed because of tampering with time and trying to destroy the universe. Now there is another person with the same ability, and he must be closely monitored. Hey, I don't mind if you want to hand me over to the Supreme Kai of Time for custody. But you can't hit me. Looking at Dongla, who was gearing up after the discussion, Tawa said calmly. Why can't I hit you? Dongla found it strange that someone would say such a thing when being beaten. Dongla wants to know the reason. Because I can't beat you, my strength is very weak. If you hit me, I will be killed in one shot. So, you can't hit me, Tawa said with a slightly proud face. But her words made everyone present except Whis open their mouths. Is this the reason why I don't hit you? Dongla was confused. Why is this woman so thick-skinned? Just because she is weak, he can't hit her. What's the logic of this? If you are stronger than me, can I beat you if I want to? Yes, you beat me to death. How could the Supreme Kai of Time imprison me? Tawa said matter-of-factly. This is really not Tova's naivety. On the contrary, this kind of blatant rogue play shows Tova's intelligence. She knew that Dongla would never beat her to death, but she didn't want to be beaten. So he said that he was very weak, and Chu-Chu was pitifully weak. It seemed like she would die with just a touch, so Dongla would be embarrassed to hit her again. I have never seen such a shameless person. Dongla is going crazy. This Tawa is really difficult to deal with. Dongla is going crazy with a series of classics, but he still feels a little helpless. Even Dongla thought about killing her with a qigong blow. Thank you Sister Lele for the compliment, but I think I can still work on my shamelessness. Tawa finally didn't care about Tong Li's curse and admitted with a smile. He also said that he would be more shameless, which made Dongla helpless. Whis, is it okay if I kill her now? Will Kane be angry? Dongla gritted his teeth and said, she was really mad. If I had known, I wouldn't have informed Kai Yin, I would have killed him directly. Well now, you shot yourself in the foot. You won't get angry, but this kind of time controller is difficult to kill. If there is no time tracing in the nest of time, even if you kill the current Tova, the Tawa at other points in time can resurrect her. Unless it is the same time controllers, or fundamental destruction like gods of destruction. Otherwise, they are truly almost immortal. What? How can she have such a perverted ability? Who else in the lower world can kill her? So when such a person 303 appears, I usually kill or seal it. Of course, the gods of destruction can also take action if they want. At this time, the Supreme Kai of Time came and said to Dongla with a smile. Kane is here, then take her away. Whis said with a smile. Okay, leave it to me. Kane nodded and marked the long river of time. Just when she was about to take Tawa away, an accident happened. The staff that was originally in Tawa's hand suddenly erupted with intense black light. Then it flew away with a swish, surprising everyone who didn't pay much attention. No, that's the scepter of the demon god Demi-Cooler. It entered the river of time and space. It must be Demi-Cooler who wants to use the power of the scepter to break the seal. Oops. Supreme Kai of Time said nervously, and then he entered the river of time first, trying to grab Demi-Cooler's scepter. But soon Kane walked out with an ugly expression, obviously not grabbing the scepter. This is a trap deliberately set by Demi-Cooler. He just wants me to cut through the long river of time, and then let the scepter enter the end of the long river of time and unlock his seal. Now that the scepter has been hidden in the long river of time, we must return to the nest of time immediately and use the book of time and space to find it. Kane looked serious and left with Tova and Bucel. However, because Bucel was so powerful, he was sealed by Whis before he left. When Supreme Kai left, it was not easy for her to leave. The demon god Demi-Cooler used conspiracy to send the staff into the long river of time. No one knows what will happen next. It would be fine if Kane can capture the staff, but if not, then it is very likely that Demi-Cooler will break free of the seal. By then, a disaster affecting the entire universe will be inevitable. This matter has a lot to do with us, we can't just sit idly by. Dongla also said solemnly. If she hadn't suggested that Whis call Kane, Demi-Cooler's staff would not have entered the long river of time. So she felt responsible and took the initiative to ask for help. Don't worry, if Kane really fails to find the staff, Demi-Cooler finally escapes. I will report it to Lord Beerus, Whis said. Although Whis is an angel, his strength far exceeds that of gods of destruction. But he cannot act alone without the permission of gods of destruction. Otherwise, why would we need gods of destruction? However, the power of demon god Demi-Cooler is still very strong. After all, he was the enemy of the Supreme Kai of Time 75 million years ago. The energy in his body is enough to destroy the world and create the universe again. However, he is very similar to Supreme Kai. Although it has unparalleled energy, its combat effectiveness cannot keep up. Moreover, Demicooler's divine power is also the power of creation, but his creative power is to create space. But, should we just wait now? Dongla said unwillingly. She doesn't like to wait passively, she likes to take the initiative and nip everything in the bud. We can only wait, because we cannot enter the river of time. It is absolutely not allowed, bear with it. Gods are all existences that have jumped out of the river of time, so they are absolutely not allowed to enter the river of time again. Only the Supreme Kai of Time, the Time Manager, can. Otherwise, it's just a normal Supreme Kai. You can only use Pola earrings and time rings, plus Supreme Kai power to enter the future and observe the future direction. Back in the day, it was all a big sin. Okay, but I want to go back to Saiyan Star W first. Dongla said worriedly. W plus WBW at. She was worried that something would happen to the Saiyan Star, so she wanted to go back and protect the Saiyan Star. Because if Demicooler really breaks free of the seal, no one knows what will happen. Although the Saiyan Star has Broly, his strength is not enough, at least it is much worse than himself. We have to work hard too. Vegeta and Son Goku also feel the pressure. Buu Cell has left them helpless, so the demon god Demicooler, who makes the gods solemn, may be stronger. They must have stronger power, otherwise it will be difficult to protect the Earth and their families. Okay, if that's the case, then you all should work hard. After discussing it, Whis sent Dongla back to Saiyan Star, and also gave a few words to Vegeta and Son Goku. Then he returned to the world of gods of destruction alone. Oh, Dongwu has been in the staff space for a month. He is really perseverant. However, the food is almost gone. Whis said distressedly. Before Dongwu entered the staff space, he prepared a lot of food for Whis. However, because he did not expect that Dongwu would practice for so long, the food he prepared was only enough for 1 month. Now, it's almost gone. However, Whis still admires Dongwu's perseverance. He knew the situation inside very well. Not only is the environment harsh, but it's also very empty and boring, just like a solitary confinement. Not to mention a month in the outside world, even a normal person can't last a week inside. Even when Gods of Destruction Beerus was practicing, he never lasted more than a week in outside time. He would come out almost every 5 or 6 days and rest for a while before entering again. One day outside, the internal space of the staff lasts 10 years. Now that a month has passed outside, that means Dongwu has been there for 300 years. 300 years of confinement. I'm afraid most people have already gone crazy. At this time, Dongwu was almost unable to hold on anymore. It wasn't loneliness, it was real pressure that he couldn't bear anymore. After hundreds of years of practice, the pressure in the space has reached a terrifying 100,000 times. In other words, if something originally weighed 1 kilogram, it now weighs 100,000 kilograms. This kind of pressure is so terrifying that even an iron lump will be crushed. This kind of pressure is so terrifying that I can't even bear it with my current divine body. How do I comprehend it under such circumstances? I really don't know how Beerus did it back then. Dongwu almost gritted his teeth and persisted, and at the same time he really felt the terror of Beerus. Because if you want to become the gods of destruction, you must pass this level. If you can withstand this kind of pressure, you can imagine how strong Beerus is. If Whis knew his thoughts, he would probably laugh out loud. Beerus has gone through this kind of training quite well, but it has taken thousands of attempts. How is it like him to hold on for so long at a time? I can't do it anymore, I need to rest. Dongwu finally couldn't understand it with peace of mind in this situation. Lie on the floor and rest to allow yourself to recover. But he never thought of going out, which surprised Whis. These hundreds of years of practice have raised Dongwu's combat effectiveness to an almost unbelievable level. He had reached the limit that his divine body could reach. And he gradually felt that his secret transformation was slowly integrating into normalcy. In other words, his normal state is the secret transformation, and the secret transformation is the normal state. Normal combat effectiveness, sudden ultimate combat effectiveness. Because he is now in a divine body, even if he transforms into a secret race, he cannot surpass the divine body. Even the Super Sailor God or the Super 4 transformation are nothing more than alien divine bodies. As long as he develops his divine body to the extreme, his combat power will be much stronger than that of a Super Saiyan god. Quote dash dot 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 quote. This is Dongwu's current combat effectiveness. Integrate the transformation of the secret game into the divine body, and fully use the divine power. It can be said that he is already a god now, but Zhao Zhaohao has not completely cut off his mortal roots and understood the realm of God. However, as I said before, realm does not provide combat power, it can only provide more perfect performance in battle and better use of power. Realm is only used to break free from the constraints of the universe. But there is still a tenfold gap with Beerus. I don't know when we will reach Beerus's level. Dongwu still wants to surpass Beerus and beat him up. After all, Saiyan from the Sarada realm is really miserable. Not only has the body been severely affected, but fertility has also been deprived. It can be said that Saiyan of Sarada's absolute realm has completely eliminated demons. With 100,000 times the gravity, I will definitely conquer you. Thinking of this, Dongwu was filled with strength again, and faced the pressure and entered the state of understanding again. This time, Dongwu will not give up until he conquers 100,000 times gravity. Dongwu practiced quietly inside the staff, and the outside world had been surprisingly quiet recently. It was even quiet and a little strange and solemn, making everyone feel heavy and wondering what was going on. It was not until 3 days later that the Supreme Kai of Time sent a message to Whis. Whis, something bad is going to happen. You have to be ready to wake up Lord Beerus. Demon God Demi-Cooler has escaped, and I don't know what kind of trouble is going to happen again. Kane's delicate little face was indescribably dignified and serious, as well as anxious and fearful. Because Demon God Demi-Cooler is too scary and too ambitious. Demi-Cooler once tampered with history and time everywhere, trying to make time disorder to achieve the purpose of destroying the world. And because he can control time, it is difficult to capture him. It was also Demi-Cooler who wanted to fight for Kane's Book of Time, but was captured and sealed in the Nest of Time. Even so, because of his powerful power, Kain was unable to destroy him. This has been sealed for 75 million years. Now that he's finally out of trouble, a cosmic storm is about to come. Oh, it seems like things are really serious. Whis also frowned. Demi-Cooler's combat effectiveness was not worth mentioning in Whis' eyes. But Demi-Cooler can travel through time and space. If the other party avoids him, there is nothing he can do. Because Angel is not qualified to enter the River of Time, not because he has no ability, but because he violates the rules. In the original version of Dragon Ball Super, Black Goku Zamasu made such a fuss that Whis and Beerus were unable to enter different time points in other time and space. Because of this sin, no one can bear it. God himself is the guardian of order and rules. Breaking the rules is absolutely strictly prohibited. Kane, how do we find him? You know, if he is not here, Master Beerus and I cannot participate. Whis said. It doesn't matter. Demi-Cooler should be hiding here now and slowly regaining his strength. But he will definitely take revenge on me. As long as I am in this time and space, he will definitely come. 75 million years ago, it was Kane who sealed Demi-Cooler, and this level lasted 75 million years. Therefore, the person Demi-Cooler hates the most in his heart must be Kane as the Supreme Kai of Time. If you don't hate madness, you are already mentally strong. Comparison Whis agrees, but doesn't think it will be that simple. As Kane's biggest opponent 75 million years ago, he is now using tactics to break the seal. It can be seen that Demi-Cooler is not a simple character, at least in terms of tactics. However, there is no better way. The best way now is to put you in the urn and wait for the rabbit. Okay, let's go through it like this. Whis nodded and asked Kane to come to Gods of Destruction to prevent any unexpected events. No, if I go to the world of Gods of Destruction, Demi-Cooler will definitely not be fooled. Therefore, I must stay at the Nest of Time. Kane shook his head and refused. No one knows Demi-Cooler better than her. Demi-Cooler is a bad guy, but he is definitely a wisecracking hero. You can see it from what he did at the beginning. At the beginning, because Demi-Cooler was not absolutely sure of defeating the Supreme Kai and Supreme Kai of Time, he went deep into the River of Time and destroyed history at various points in time, causing chaos in the long River of Time. If he hadn't made a miscalculation at the last moment and attacked Kane in the Nest of Time, Kane wouldn't have been able to do anything to him. Therefore, in order for Demicooler to be fooled, she must stick to the nest of time. At the same time, she created a posture of fear, making him mistakenly think that she did not dare to leave the nest of time. Only in this way, Demicooler will enjoy it. You are right, but the risk is too great. Whis disagreed because it was too risky. But Kane's attitude was very firm, and Whis couldn't do anything. Finally, it was decided to let a master hide the nest of time, ready to take action at any time. Originally, the gods of destruction Beerus was the stronger, but as the gods of destruction, Beerus could not enter the long river of time. Supreme Kai, Shin is okay, but his strength is not as good as Kaiyan, so there is no use if he goes there. Then let me ask Dongwu to come over. He is not a god canonized god and is not subject to this restriction. Dongwu's strength is already very strong, although he has not yet fully become a god. But the divine body and divine power have been shaped, and the realm has been close to the realm of gods. With Dongwu's protection, Kai bacteria should be no problem. Okay, please notify Beerus later. When I pretend to be defeated and escape from the nest of time and the river of time, let Beerus destroy Demicooler. At that time, I will use the Book of Time and Space to activate the law of time causality and completely eliminate Demicooler. The plan was decided. Whis and Kane closed the call. Originally, Whis planned to call Dongwu out immediately, but as soon as the magic entered the staff space, he discovered something different about Dongwu. As this, he's almost broken through, just one final kick away. And judging by his condition, he seems to be close. Whis was stunned and took a breath of cold air randomly. How long has it been? Even in the staff space, it is only a few hundred years. It takes hundreds of years to comprehend the realm of God. Is it a fantasy? It took Beerus a full 1,000,000 years. This is the fastest of all gods of destruction. Master Beerus is almost the strongest level of gods of destruction. Will Dongwu be even more terrifying in the future? Whis can't believe it. This has never happened before. There have been many alien divine bodies in the universe, and their physical strength has reached the level of gods. But in the end, they all fell on the road to the realm of gods, and there were only a few successful ones in the entire universe. It is because it is too difficult to comprehend the realm, and ordinary people do not have such a long lifespan to comprehend it. Point 0. But, what if it takes 300 years to realize the realm of God? Whis shuddered just thinking about it. As he spoke, Dongwu's body showed an ethereal feeling. On this shore, and on the other shore. In this world and beyond this world. Hush. Whis was completely stunned. As an angel, nothing could surprise him. He is unfazed by changes and possesses absolute strength. Nothing should surprise him at all. However, this time he was really surprised. It takes hundreds of years to complete the journey that others took millions of years to complete. How terrifying is this? Dongwu's aura surged, and then quickly converged. The golden red hair flutters in the wind without leaking any breath. Breaking through the pressure of 100,000 times the gravity of the gods of destruction world, understanding the realm of God, shaping the divine body, and being filled with divine power. I should be considered a god now, but why do I still feel incomplete? Dongwu looked at his hands and felt the endless strength in his body. But he frowned, somewhat unable to understand his current situation. In terms of divine body, divine power and realm, Dongwu should already be a complete god. But Dongwu clearly felt that he was not perfect yet, not a complete god. How is this going? Dongwu was confused and scratched his hair in anger. What's bothering you? It takes hundreds of years to become a god, which is already the fastest. Whis asked with some confusion as he looked at Dongwu scratching his head. It stands to reason that Dongwu should be happy now. He has comprehended the realm of gods, condensed his divine body, given birth to divine power, and his combat power has reached Wu Gai. It already has 50% of the combat power of gods of destruction. After a period of training and improvement, it should not be a problem to reach 80% of the strength of gods of destruction Beerus. This is a very high strength, already catching up with some less powerful gods of destruction. Why shouldn't Dongwu be distressed? Regarding Whis' question, Dongwu happened to ask for advice, so he informed Whis of his confusion. Although I have now condensed my divine body, given birth to divine power, and comprehended the realm of God. But I have a feeling that I am not yet a complete god. I am not perfect, and I still have certain flaws. Oh, is there such a thing? Release all your power and realm, let me see. Whis also frowned when he heard this. This situation has never happened before. Under normal circumstances, the divine body is first condensed, then the divine realm is comprehended, and finally divine power is born. In this way, you can become a god. Although the order of Dongwu is different, the same aspects are already sufficient, so how can there be more? Faced with Whis' request, Dongwu was naturally happy. He released all his power with a loud shout. The powerful divine power made the entire gods of destruction world feel extremely depressed. The divine power is pure, the divine body is powerful, and the realm is perfect. There is no problem. No. That's not right. How could it be? How come your mortal roots haven't been cleared yet? Is this what makes Saiyan different? Whis looked at Dongwu's situation and thought it was fine, but it shouldn't be like this. But Whis soon overturned his conclusion and said with a look of disbelief. The root has not been removed. What do you mean? Dongwu heard this for the first time and asked in confusion. The so-called mortal roots are when every creature becomes a god, the last trace of mortal characteristics of the body is cut off, and it is also the most fundamental stubborn root of the body. However, this should usually disappear when the divine body is condensed. Why does yours still exist? How do you concentrate your spiritual body when you have mortal roots? Whis said in disbelief, because this is impossible. Without removing the mortal roots, the divine body cannot be condensed at all. This is common to the entire universe. Hearing this, Dongwu suddenly understood. My own divine body is not condensed according to the operation of this universe, but the body of the Holy Spirit that is condensed through the 10th level of Dragon Elephant Prajna Kung Fu, reborn as a transcendent being and becomes a saint. Although the essence is the same, the methods are completely different. Therefore, although he condensed his divine body, he failed to clear his mortal roots. Dongwu told Whis his guess, but it was denied. No, that's not the reason. It's that you Saiyans are really special. You have both animal nature and divinity in your body, and you can become a god through any of the characteristics. But the mortal roots are difficult to completely remove. Because the animal nature can be removed by becoming a god. It is the mortal roots of animal nature, and becoming a god removes the mortal roots of human beings. Therefore, you can become gods, but it is basically impossible to completely remove the mortal roots. So on the contrary, it is easy for you Saiyans to become gods, but it is difficult to appear true god. Whis' words were very convoluted, but Dongwu understood them. Whether it's the Super Sailor God of Sarada's ultimate domain and the Super Sailor Demon God of Super Sailor 4, or the Super Sailor God of Vegeta and Son Goku, or even the Super Sailor Blue of Son Goku and Vegeta. They have all reached the level of gods, but because they have not been able to completely remove their mortal roots, they have never been true gods. If you want to remove the mortal roots, you must remove the mortal roots of both animal nature and human nature at the same time. For Saiyan, this is almost impossible. Because, no Saiyan will take both roots at the same time. Now there is only one person, Dongwu. Because Dongwu fused the genes and power of Saiyan and Xuanchao Saiyan, he gathered incomplete divine power early on. After that, he used the fused body to condense the divine body in one fell swoop. Therefore, the most promising one is Dongwu. However, it is still difficult. What should I do? Dongwu asked eagerly. This is related to his future growth and must be asked as clearly as possible. Of course he hoped Whis could give him the answer. But this time Dongwu will be disappointed, because Whis doesn't know what to do in this situation. I have never encountered this kind of situation before, and I don't know how to answer it for you. You Saiyan are so special that you can have humans and animals in one body. Whis shook his head, he couldn't answer 3. But his words opened a window for Dongwu. Human and beast are in the same body. Isn't this the human state and the gorilla state? Can I live a perfect life by integrating the power of the gorilla or the Super 4 into the divine body? Dongwu doesn't know, but he is willing to try. Whis, is there any way you can create 1,000 times more ZF light waves or use bright light? Dongwu asked eagerly. Since he had a guess, he naturally wanted to try it immediately. However, there is no moon in the gods of destruction world, so he needs special means to transform into a gorilla. Oh ho ho, this is very simple. Whis smiled hatefully, making Dongwu want to punch his handsome face. At the same time, He made up his mind to find Vegeta when he went back and learn the skills of Artificial Moon. I'm coming. With a wave of the whisk staff, a strong light wave shines on Zanwu's body, 1,000 times Zeful light wave. Dongwu instantly felt that the animal nature suppressed in his blood had broken through the seal, and a strong desire for destruction surged into his heart. A powerful and cruel force in the body surges out from the tail and infuses the whole body. The muscles all over his body began to swell, and the gorilla form was finally exposed in front of Whis and Dongwu. This is the form and power of a gorilla. Dongwu's power doubled instantly, and the powerful power made Dongwu feel a little lost. It is said that the gorilla form can increase combat power tenfold. Maybe because my evolved form is already perfect, it only doubled. Dongwu guessed. Even so, Dongwu's strength at this time has reached the level of Beerus. However, because the orangutan is too bulky and large, the bid was large. I'm not that obvious about the actual improvement in combat effectiveness. If I control this beastly power, then I will transform into Super 4. This is not what I want. Neither Super Saiyan God nor Super 4 is suitable for me. Dongwu met the standards of an elite warrior because of his high qualifications at birth. Coupled with multiple evolutions, you will not be lost when transforming into a gorilla. He had a feeling that because he was awake, he could easily control this powerful beastly force. However, Dongwu refused. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.